Experience listener line. Leave your message at the tone. And how you doing?
Listen, you guys are killing us here. We're here in Jacoby Medical Center. You guys need your own comedy show, I swear.
Now, Wendy, what's happening with Whitney Houston and Bobby Brown? I'd like to know that answer.
I can't stand Wendy. She gets on my nerves. I still listen to her. I don't know why, but I can't stand her.
The Wendy Williams Experience.
And now we're pleased to bring you our feature presentation.
What you're here are about to witness the greatest queen of all time. Okay, party people in the house.
Turn it up, yo. Turn it up. This is it. Allow me to reintroduce this queen. Representing
From west to east. Just better get it right. Y'all know the name. Wendy Williams. Who?
been in this game for a while.
I hate to brag, but
Ain't nobody
It is phenomenal.
like the queen.
Right here.
who the brother sister with so much drama.
From yo block to yo block. I heard of the number one female. Been doing this for years.
Every barbershop, beauty salon.
Who the brother sister with so much sister.
Again and again. Wendy Williams.
Bringing your name up. A lot of you haters scared to death.
She at it again.
Wendy Williams.
She in it the win.
Wendy Williams.
She back and she staying.
Wendy Williams.
The ain't playing. I like to present you the winner of the Game Shoes of the Year award.
Once again.
Introducing the queen.
There you are. I've been thinking about you over the weekend and stuff, you know. Hey, everybody, welcome to the Wendy Williams Experience. Glad you're here. No guests today, so it's me and you, and we've got plenty of time to talk about everybody. First of all, the phone lines are open at 866-GET-WENDY. Coming up next hour is Advice Hour, the hour of truth. We gossip all over this radio program. Today we'll be talking about the Baldwins and Prince, and Spade is speaking regarding Heather Locklear. Talk about the 3-6 Mafia and Eddie Murphy. Charlie and Denise and Heather and Richie, I'm still obsessed. So let's talk about that, please. Tyler Perry, Foxy Brown, whatever you want to bring to the table is fine with me. The fax machine is open too at 866-WENDY-FAX. I sit virtually right next to the fax machine, so I get them throughout the show. And the email, Wendy at the WendyWilliamsExperience.com. So that's how you get me. Now let's get it on. It is what it is, people. Welcome to the Wendy Williams Experience.
Hey.
Ladies and gentlemen, it is with great honor and distinction that I introduce to you the queen of all media, Wendy Williams.
There she go. Hey, everybody. What's happening? Hey, Goose, I, too, am surprised that you're here today. I thought that you would be marching with the immigrants.
No English-speaking room.
Yeah, no. Well, he said no English-speaking room.
I'm sorry.
Do you know people marching with the immigrants today?
Actually, no, you know.
No, you don't. Do you feel like you're betraying people for being here?
Yeah, kind of, I guess so.
Because I was like, well, who's going to press the buttons, on the show today? I thought about it on my way in. I was like, oh, my gosh, Goose is going to be marching with the people, and who's going to press the buttons? Who's going to make it happen? Damn, we need you. You as in Goose, and you as in
Pablo.
Yes. Mrs. Lopez, she had work to do. No time to march today. No. Ay, sorry. So anyway, Let's go to Nika. She's on line number 3. She wants to talk about the Immigrants March. Sopranos, great last night, man.
Hi, Wendy.
It was a great one. Hi, Nika. How are you?
What's up? I feel like I'm getting to know you, like my really spinning my head.
Well, it's nice to have you here.
I'm becoming a regular, I think, every 2 weeks.
Oh.
I'm calling because I'm heated about something today.
Okay.
I took the day off to do some things, and 2 people asked me that I take off because of that march.
Oh.
The answer is no, and people need to get a grip, be confident, feel good that they're American, and no, I think people are getting the definition mixed up. I have a dictionary, so people can know that an immigrant is a person who comes into a foreign country to make a new home.
Yes.
An illegal alien is a person that's in this country not legal.
Right.
Okay? An alien means that person belongs to another country. So stop making us feel bad because you've been here for 20 years getting away with it. Why didn't you step up your game 10 years ago and apply to be a citizen? I'm proud to be a legal American. Okay, I hope they deport everybody. And you know what? I do have some friends that probably are here illegal. I'm not saying deport everyone. Keep 30% here. But you have people who are legal in prison.
You have legal people who don't do crap.
Listen, I'm tired of everybody making us feel bad that we're legal here and that we ought to compromise our integrity of being in the United States. If you do not belong here, if you've beaten the system 20 years from now, it's time to do what you have to do and go back. I'm sorry if you've been here 20 years.
Thank you, Nika.
And no one has caught you. But you know what? Do not try to install our government trying to compromise something illegal.
Thank you, Nika.
Thank you, Wendy. Wendy, have a good day.
You too. Bye-bye. Yeah, all the action's down in Union Square today. I guess that'll be slowage on the pot selling and the e-pills, or is is business up today? 300%. You know? You never know. Union Square, that would be where, like when we were kids, Washington Square Park and Union Square, go, get on the train from the suburbs of New Jersey, buy some weed, walk around the city all day. Like $5 in your pocket, It was fine with us, kids, we just, cutting and having fun. LT is on line number 5 from Atlanta. LT is over Desperate Housewives. I've been over it. I couldn't tell you what's going on in that
Wendy,
show.
I'm so over that show. The storyline is becoming so ridiculous at this point. I used to be just like you on Sunday on my perch, sitting there trying to watch it, trying to take it in.
Yes.
And I'm just, now, if everything is just ridiculous. Now, we've been over that whole Alfred Woodard, Mehcad Brooks story forever, and they are still trying to milk that story.
No.
Like, who cares about Caleb at this point? Just kill him. Gabrielle had a moment last night where she had to cry because the baby was being taken away from her, and she's not a crier. It was so bad.
I haven't watched it so long. I don't even know what baby you're talking about. Who's Gabrielle? But you know what? What's your go-to show? Like if you get off Wisteria Lane, where are you going?
See, my go-to show used to be The Surreal Life.
Okay.
But now even with that's kind of I'm kind of over that too.
Okay.
It used to be Have That, Flavor of Love.
Okay.
That was my go-to show, but now that's off. So now, honestly, on Sunday I have nothing. I'm like, I have no go-to show. I'm not into the Sopranos. I've never been to monster movies or not monster films. So
Yes.
I just don't know what to do at this point. But I didn't know if you were still watching or not. But it's just become so ridiculous.
No, I watched The Sopranos. I watched The Entourage into Sopranos, and I missed Jolie last night. On TV, and I was perfectly at home, capable of watching.
You know what? Me too. It was like 7:45. I said, "Oh my God, Miss Jolie."
Yeah.
I was like, "Damn it."
Yeah.
Hey, but I wanted to thank you because last week I had sent you a fax about me and my friends getting involved. I had a car accident situation, and I didn't tell one friend, and the other friend got mad at me.
Yes.
I want to thank you so much for your advice. I had to cut one of them loose. And you know what? I honestly, the second one isn't cut off totally, but I'm very, very careful when I tell them now. Yeah,
that's right. Feed that second one with a long spoon. Thanks, LT, for calling. Bye-bye.
Thanks. Bye.
Yeah, I set my alarm last night for 7:45 to wake up. We were supposed to, first of all, it was absolutely beautiful outside yesterday, and I woke up early in the morning. I wanted to start getting some of my goals accomplished, which, included, going to the grocery store. I couldn't wait for any of those people that I live with to get up. I just, threw on some flip-flops and a baseball hat and went to the grocery store like 7 o'clock in the morning. I was there because I try to sleep kind of where I wake up early on the weekends, so that I'm not moody Monday through Friday in the routine of waking up early. I got back from the grocery store, didn't even feel like cooking or anything. I immediately popped a bottle of Visel Black label, yep, and then opened up a bottle of Red Alizé, the Passion, and started making the signature drink, the Experience. And I was waiting, actually, my cousin Debbie was supposed to come over and teach me how to, work the computer, turn it on, turn it off, maybe email, a person or two, just to get my feelers out. Well, she called up by like 2 o'clock in the afternoon. At that point, I had been, having my drinks and everything all day. And I was out on the deck and enjoying the sun. And I put new fake plants out there. I'd gone to Home Goods. I saw a few of you yesterday buying my fake plants. How you doing? I went home and I put those out. And I was in like an Alizé champagne. I was in an Experience haze. That's the name of the drink. So I was kind of grouchy. I was like, maybe next weekend I'll do it, and then we were supposed to go to, our attorney has a second house, a boathouse up in the lake in like North Jersey, up by the forehead. If you look at Jersey, up in the forehead, it's like on the lake, the boathouse. He's got a boat out there. He unducts the boat. We have fun. We bring our son. They've got kids, he and his wife. The kids all play. We all get on the boat and we take the boat over to a restaurant because the lake is huge. On the other side of the lake, there's a bunch of restaurants you can go to. So we were supposed to do that. That was supposed to be about 5 o'clock, but I'm even grouchier, because I had been having my drinks all day. And those people I live with, they had been out. So it was just me, left up to my own devices. And I just sat out there in the sun with a cordless phone, my magazines, Life and Style, absorbing what's going on with Richie and Heather and Denise and Charlie and getting angrier and angrier and angrier. So we didn't go there either. I ended up falling asleep. But I set my alarm at 7:45 to wake up in time for Entourage. And of course, no headache, no hangover. And so here we are. I saw Flight 93 this weekend. Was I the only one who saw that Saturday night before going out? I'm getting ready to lay down once again to take my disco nap. And I was going through the channels, and it was on A&E. The new one, the one that just showed at Tribeca Film Festival, Flight 93. It was on A&E, 9 o'clock Saturday night. Ugh, wow. I was an emotional wreck. I can't say that I laughed, but I cried, and I cried, and I cried. There's something going on, though. I mean, that was very, very sad, but, I was just in the back watching some footage of a graduation from college, some kids who went to Monroe College. Why was I sitting there crying right along with only one girl in the whole video? I said, what is going on emotionally with me? Why am I a teary, blubbering mess? Anyway, Flight 911 was really good. And I think that's the one that's in limited release. That's the same one. I couldn't figure out why it was on TV other than that, okay, this is really great. The filmmaker's not after the dollar. He just wants to get the message, the story out there, And it was really great, A&E. So they're probably rerunning it, I see that one of our listeners, Lakima Walker, saw the new Melvin Van Peebles play in New York over the weekend entitled Ain't Supposed to Die a Natural Death, and says that it was very, very good. Well, shout out to Melvin and also Mario Van Peebles. I like the Van Peebles men. Melvin Van Peebles asked me out on a date, and Mario was encouraging it. No, I didn't go because it seems like Melvin was really, a date, like to get it in. You know what I mean? I guess he couldn't see that I was married. Anyway, so I'm glad you guys are all here today. Press line number 7. Let me just quickly say hey to Ron. Okay, line number 2, Miranda?
No.
All right, well, then...
New call is only 6.
Okay, well, then press nothing. Hey, Trey Loren's girlfriend is pregnant. I just thought I'd pass that along to you. Yeah, as we go into the break. Kim is on line number 7. Kim, I see you. All right, I'll be right there. And Yvonne wants to know what a splaboo is. She's 50. Yvonne, a splaboo is the behind our backs name that Michael Jackson calls we black people. It's different from nigga. It's splaboo.
It's Wendy, man. George Bush doesn't care about black people. And George Bush doesn't care about Wendy Williams.
The Wendy Williams Experience.
Wow.
Backed by popular demand. And This time, it's bigger and better than ever.
Pick your pleasure.
It's the luxury of your choice, having the ability to choose what you desire most.
Pick your pleasure.
Louis Vuitton, Gucci, diamonds and furs, exotic trips, cash. A night out on the town with one of your favorite stars. Listen for the winning time starting at 7:15 a.m., 12:15 in the afternoon, and 6:15 evenings.
Pick your pleasure.
With 107.5 WBLS.
Today's R&B and classic soul, the Wendy Williams Experience, is on at 26 minutes after 2 o'clock. Good afternoon, my friends. This hour of the Wendy Williams Experience is being brought to you by Entertainment Tonight. And one of the listeners that was on hold that hung up let me know that the Flight 93 that I saw on A&E over the weekend was the made-for-TV movie, and not the same Flight 93 that just showed at the Tribeca Film Festival that'll be in limited release. So I didn't know. I mean, you know what? If I had known, I would not have watched the Flight 93 that I saw on Saturday night, but I wanted to be topical and in the know, and I know that since I never go to the movies anymore unless it's, to see something, with Buzz Lightyear or SpongeBob in it, I was like, wow, look, I'm going to be right on time. People are going to be talking about this movie, and I'm right in here. I'm watching it too. At home, doing it for myself. Oh, figures. It wasn't even the same one. Listen, don't miss Self Magazine's 13th annual Workout in the Park. It's a fitness and beauty extravaganza. It's for everyone, and it happens to be Mother's Day weekend, Saturday, May 13th, from 11 a.m. to 3 p.m. at Central Park's Rumsey Field. And that's a reminder from your radio station. Yeah. You know what I made for my mother for Mother's Day? I'm thinking about maybe making them, if you guys want me to, I can make you one. I can give you, I don't have any information to give you on how you get in touch with me, but I'm making my mother a Mother's Day basket. Like, I love to go out and get the yellowish color wrapping and the basket and stuff. And I got her some really nice stuff and just put it in a basket. It looks like just a regular old basket until you open it up. It's got some of my champagne in it and some Alizé, and it's got for her, she doesn't need my books, but for you guys, I would put the books in and stuff like that. It's got a special picture of she and I in a frame, and some food. Food that won't spoil, but some of her favorite little and, all like that. I'm working on it. I know Mother's Day's just around the corner. I'll get back to you on that one. The New York Department of Health is encouraging you to quit smoking. So you can dial 311 for more information about that. Did you guys hear about that bank robbery that happened the other week? They say more than a dozen people actually were exposed to that red dye mist. I had no idea it was a mist. I thought it was, I guess I never gave thought to what the hell the red dye is that comes off the money. But apparently the dye exploded inside a money bag being carried by the bank robbers who were leaving the scene of the crime. Right there on 58th and Lexington is where the Wachovia Bank was being robbed. And so people who were around the area, like outside the movie theater and stuff, is over near Bloomingdale's, said that the red smoke was everywhere and people's eyes were burning and stuff. The cops were called when the bank was being robbed. It was being robbed at 5 p.m. Rush hour. How do you rob a bank and get away with that? Wow. No arrests have been made. And it happened, last week on Thursday. The bank typically puts, that red dye packet in there for the stolen money. 17 people were exposed to the dye and taken to emergency medical. 5 of them were children, and then the rest were adults. Scary, right? The red dye. I guess that's installed inside the bag that the bank officer puts the money in. And then and then why does it explode? Is that because when you throw the sack over your shoulder, maybe if the sack bumps against something, the dye explodes? I don't know.
I guess they can remotely explode it, so the money will be tainted.
Oh, good. Remote. So the money will be tainted, but then the mist is everywhere. I got to tell you something. I did not learn. As a matter of fact, look here, you're the intern that told me about the airbag exploding, right? So you don't mind if I say this, do you? This is going into our exploding story we were talking about maybe 2 weeks ago, but it's stuck with me, like, oh my God. So Lakia, one of our interns, and there probably many of you know this. She was in a car accident years ago, and the airbag exploded and burned her. That's why she's wearing long sleeves, even though it's 90 degrees outside. Yes, it is, and yes, you are.
It's see-through.
Whatever. You just want to see the filminess of your beautiful brown skin, not the scaliness of the airbag explosion. That could, by chance, look like eczema, like I have on my lower leg, or like you've been burned by something.
Yeah. Most people think it's eczema.
Eczema.
Like you thought.
Yeah, like I thought. I thought it was eczema.
Wow.
It's on your arms. What are you doing when it's 100 degrees outside?
I wear tank tops because I'm beautiful.
Yes, exactly. The same way I have on a schoolgirl kilt today. Because and you can see my eczema. I don't care.
So you look good, though.
But what I say is, look up here. I'm up here. Stop looking down there.
Did she sue?
No, she didn't. So you did sue. How much money did you get? Did you get over $20,000? Over $50,000? Get out of the way, Goose. Over $100,000. Yeah, over $100,000. She said yes. I won't ask anymore. Over.
Hi, friend.
Over. Can you buy us lunch? Did you get over $300,000? One more question.
You think about it.
You got over.
Permanent scars.
All right. So she did get over $300,000. Did you get over $1 million?
I am permanently scarred.
She's permanently scarred.
And I'm a young girl.
And she's a young girl, cute in the face, burnt in the arms. It's a damn shame. Are you West Indian?
Me?
Yeah.
No.
Okay.
I would have been at the march.
She's here.
Yeah, no, I was just going to ask. You could have been down there with your burnt arms, holding a picket. So now when you get in cars, this is just a personal question, Lakia, because the reason that I say that, I'm sorry, I was getting off track. The airbag comes out with the force of gunpowder helping it.
Right.
So it's gunpowder.
So
yeah.
If you get burned by it, you have to get
So when you crash your car, the airbag comes out. No, it's... Maybe you should be at the rally, Goose. Yeah. When the airbag comes out, it's like a gunshot, not like a... So now, do you always wear your seatbelt, Lakia? No. See? Yeah, she doesn't want to get burnt again. Her father told her... I remember our elevator conversation weeks ago. Your father told you, watch the airbag. If you're ever in a car accident, you either get a broken nose or you get burnt up.
He told me a broken nose. He didn't know about the burn.
Yeah.
So I just didn't want my face all busted.
Yeah, those same burns could have been on your face, except you used your forearms in the car accident to block. Yeah, you got to be careful out there. You rob a bank, you get the red dye. You're in a car accident, you get shot in the arm. Yeah. It's terrible. Let's go to the telephone. I see Ron is back on line number 3 to say hey. Hi, Ron.
Hey, Wendy.
How are you today?
I'm doing well.
Good. Nice to have you here, too.
Yeah, I haven't talked to you in a while.
Yes.
I wanted to let you know that my dad retired.
I'm sorry, Ron. I don't know who you are. Should I know your father?
This is Ron from Brigada. I'm sorry, sweetie.
Oh, Ron from Atlantic City.
Yeah.
From the Brigada. Oh, wow. Oh, his father was very helpful when we had our Big Dons and Divas there. He retired.
Yeah.
I know he's happy.
Yes, he is.
Yeah. What's he going to do with the rest of his life? Because nobody retires anymore and just sits and becomes older.
Right.
Everybody's doing something.
Very happy, very excited. Doing the thing.
Yeah. What's he planning, though, with his retirement?
I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's kind of up in the air.
Yeah. All right, Ron.
He needs some time off. He just wants to relax right now and, do everything that he wants to do.
Yeah.
Not go to work for sure.
Yeah, exactly. Well, thanks for calling, Ron.
Okay, take care of yourself.
Tell your father I said happy retirement.
I will.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
I'll tell you what, retirement is not like it used to be, as I've learned from my parents and, some of their friends. You retire from your main job, but then you do other things. My father is still writing manuscripts, just lining underneath the bed, just writing. He's taking Spanish as a second language over at college. My mother teaches pregnant girls at the Pregnant Girl High School in Miami to let them know life is not over. You got to get ready to, move on to college or whatever. They're both involved in their civic organizations, and as a matter of fact, I think they're both walking this weekend in the American Cancer Society. No, they're walking for a cure for asthma. is what they told me. Yeah. They're always doing something. You can't just retire and sit at the wall, and look at the wall. Ketlin in Newark says, Sopranos was so good last night. It's the first one of the season that I've caught. I loved when he threw the slut monkey from ER off of his lap. Yeah. Yada, yada, yada. Yeah. I know. Tony didn't cheat last night. Tony didn't cheat. Shout out to all the jump offs. Tony didn't cheat. Tony don't want you. The husbands don't want you. Every once in a while, they get stricken with the guilt, and Do we have to push men though to the brink of death like Tony in order for them to appreciate what they have? Do we have to do that? And Ketlin says Denise Richards is such a little slut monkey too, regardless of what type of behindhole Charlie is. Yup, Ketlin, keep it here. I want you to call and get in on the convo because, damn, I hate Denise Richards. I hate her worse than I hate Charlie Sheen. I can't believe I'm so invested in this relationship. All right, well, you all keep it where you got it. It's Wendy, and I'm here until 7 on 107.5 WVLS.
Down the NYC.
Listen, Wendy.
Yes?
I think you have to put on that recording of your saying that word. I think it's necessary.
Fire! Daddy!
We love that, Wendy. I'm on fire.
It's Wendy, man. The Wendy Williams Experience.
Okay, so here we are back, everybody. Don't forget, on June 20th, my novel will be in stores. Yeah. It's called Drama is Her Middle Name. It's the Ritz Harper Chronicles, Volume 1, because there'll be more following Ritz. I really enjoyed writing about Ritz, and I enjoy that the first book about Ritz will be out on June 20th, and then the second one will be out in December, and the second one is all but done. Shout out to my writer, Karen Hunter. Ritz, as it says on the back of the book, is a suburban girl on the outside, but inside she's a hustler, and she masterfully maneuvers her way to the spotlight after ruining the career of a well-respected newswoman and former college friend. Ritz is exclusive on this newswoman, rockets her to the top of the ratings, and she's rewarded with her very own radio show. Like a talking Venus flytrap, she verbally seduces her guests on air, only to eat them for lunch as she spews gossip about them, once they leave the studio. So she is really something else. She's an afternoon drive radio personality in New York, and she happens to be victim of a drive-by. And yeah, well, it's a terrible situation that she's in there laying on the sidewalk, and all she can think about is, who did this to me? She can't even think about it. Who did this? Wow. And now when she gets herself back together, she's coming, for people. So I can't wait. I enjoyed writing it, like I said. Hopefully you'll salivate for more of Ritz once you read this first one. And it's Wendy Williams and Karen Hunter. No relation. Karen is my writing partner. And it's called Drama is Her Middle Name, the Ritz Harper Chronicles. Now, I've written 2 books in the past, but this one right here starts my novel series. And it will be out, like I said, June of 2006, June 20th to be exact. So shout out to my Random House family. I'm actually on the Harlem Moon imprint of Random House. It's going to be a paperback too. It's a paperback, so you can collect this with it and take it on the beach with you. And so hopefully you'll choose this as one of your summer reads. In the meantime, 50 Cent is coming after Oprah Winfrey. He says, here's this quote, I think she's what does it say? I think she caters to older white women. Oprah's audience is my audience parents, so I could care less about Oprah or her show. I'm actually better off having friction with her. Wow. He doesn't give a damn. Even Ludacris said, look, I respect Oprah, but these are my issues with her. She edited out my comments and yada, yada, yada. Look, Tyra Banks, I love you. Tyler Perry, I love you. But the idea of this charade that you all have going on is absolutely fooling no one, including my mother, and she's damn near 70. You're not even fooling the older set.
Wendy?
No. You all aren't fooling anybody, but this is real cute. It's continually being pushed. Tyra was relentless. She saw him, she went after him, and now she's got him. Tyler has fallen for her. He's already considering relocating to Los Angeles from Atlanta. Tyler's 36. Diary of a Mad Black Woman grossed $114 million. His Don't Make a Black Woman Vaseline her face and put her earrings down on the side of the road and kick your ass. That book debuted #1 on the New York Times bestsellers list in the nonfiction. So they say, here's the quote, Tyler has fallen for her. He's already considering relocating. Well, you all, that's a good way of, being able to maintain you all's lives separately. You marry for the sake of, so everybody get off Tyler's back. Not me, though, Tyler. Come on, Miss Honey. We have an understanding. We need new interns here on the show. And let me just say that June 17th is the next Dons and Divas extravaganza. So whatever interns we get would be a part of the planning, the 24-hour phone answering, all that other kind of stuff. And you can look at it as fun, but I look at it as an immense amount of work. So, we do a lot of things here on the show. It's not just about the 5-hour show. So, whatever interns we'd be getting, you'd be in time for a Dons and Divas extravaganza. Not to say that you'd actually be at the affair, because if you were at the affair, but if you were at the affair, you would definitely be working like everybody else on the show. We need our interns to be college students, majoring in communications. I do prefer girls. I will say that. Girls are more organized. Girls answer the phone, have better phone manners. Girls are more efficient. Girls. However, we do take guys, but don't think about coming up here to try to pick up the girls. And it's proven that just because you're a man and you happen to be gay doesn't make you any more organized than a heterosexual man, all preoccupied with whoever the hell's up here. So, but we need interns. We just need good people.
Punctual, hardworking.
Oh, yeah. Who is that, Taryn? Yeah, the producer of the show who will ultimately be okaying you and then passing you along to me. We need punctual, hardworking, determined communications majors, and we need you to be in college, of college age. No 28-year-old interns. And I know 28-year-olds go to college, but that's not... Today is the 75th birthday of the Empire State Building, our neighbor. About 5 doors down, right there on 34th Street in Manhattan. Yeah. May 1st of 1931, the world's largest building, that would be the Empire State Building, opened. Right there in the depths of the Great Depression, Goose. On March 2nd of 1933, King Kong sealed the deal. Yes, the Empire State Building is the greatest. July 28th of 1945, a B-25 bomber plowed into the 79th floor because of dense fog and killed 14 people in the process. Yeah. April 24th of 1986, 2 British men parachuted from the 86th floor observation deck. Wow. One got into a taxi and drove away. The other one got snagged on a traffic light. These are a few factoids about the tallest building in New York City. February 23rd, 1997, a gunman opened fire on the observation deck, killing 1 person, wounding 6 others before turning the weapon on himself. October 24th of 1998, 2 daredevils escaped with a parachute on the observation desk, and at least 35 people have killed themselves by jumping off of the Empire State Building. Wow. And of course, the other day was the most recent thing. The guy with the camera strapped to his back. So happy 75th birthday, Empire State Building, one of this world's most glorious buildings. We are fortunate enough to have you as our neighbor. Thank you.
It's Wendy, man.
I drove yesterday to get you, but that book is fire! Yes, honey, you did it again, honey. You did it again.
The Wendy Williams Experience. Got a problem?
Wendy, should I stay with him or should I just leave him?
It's advice hour.
I feel like I have no choice but to be
a sister to her and to love her.
She needs to blow him up.
Yeah.
In front of the family. Her husband needs to be there on the side and let her know how he wrecked her life.
Wendy, girl, I'm pregnant by my brother-in-law. Should I keep this baby?
You wretched whore.
Call Wendy 866-GET-WENDY. Fax Wendy 866-WENDY-FACT. Advice hour starts now.
Alrighty, everybody. It is Advice Hour on the Wendy Williams Experience, and I mean, you know, I'm not a doctor, so when we do Wendy's Medical Minute, sometimes there are things that, duh, Wendy, and then other times, you know, maybe I give a good tidbit and you can run with it and whatnot. What I wanted to talk to you today about is something so basic in Wendy's Medical Minute that I can't believe that we're all grown people and there are many of us still with rotten ass teeth because we don't brush and we have poor oral hygiene. And then many people wonder why it is that they can't climb the This is Medical Minute, by the way, Goose. Yeah. Why, you know, they can't climb the corporate ladder or get, you know, from behind the scenes and get in front of the scenes at their job. You ever look in your mouth? Come on, everybody. I mean, you would think that dental hygiene is very, very basic, but it's not. Brush. Take your time with it. They say, now I got this information from Dr. William Dorfman. He's a dentist. Your dentist would probably tell you the same thing. Bacteria just sit in your mouth after every meal. Now, do you brush after every meal? Who does? You don't brush after every meal, Goose.
Or swish.
Swish. That's not brushing. I chew gum. You got to do something to break up the bacteria, and it can't be like a big piece of bubble gum. You know, chew something with a little whitener and breath freshener and something sugarless. Do something, swoosh the bacteria off your teeth and off your tongue. Okay, take your time when you brush. Dr. Dorfman says 4 to 6 minutes is the usual. 2 minutes if you use an electric toothbrush. I brush a full song. I got the radio on. You listen. You wait for the full song to be over. That's it. That's usually, you know, 3 to 5 minutes. Brush it nicely. Don't forget to slip your brush on the tongue. Make sure that you clean your tongue. They say your tongue has 90% of the odor. So, by the way, if you're wondering why your breath stinks, it's on your tongue. So maybe you need to brush it. Use maybe one of those tongue scrapers. Don't forget to floss. The one most important thing after brushing is flossing. Floss. The cavities are usually caused in the bacteria left between your teeth. Please, everybody, brush. Brush. The teeth are the windows to the privates. Dirty teeth mean dirty dills. That's it. And that's Wendy's Medical Minute. Thank you. Why, hi. Must we talk about brushing teeth? By the way, a special shout out to Benny the jeweler over at the Coliseum in Queens. How you doing? Thanks for turning us on. Charlemagne's not here today. He'd be better able to kvetch with you about the Dwayne Wade-Gary Payton fight. I know nothing. If anybody would like to call and, you know, get in on the talk about it, somebody who saw the fight, tell me what happened. Okay, let's begin with some letters. I got this one right here. Wendy, let me start by saying I'm 35 years old and I have 2 children, a 3-year-old and a 5-year-old, and I've been married for 8 years. Wendy, I started flirting with this guy at work. He's 28 and has a 6-year-old child. He would say all the nice things that I want to hear. Goose?
No, he's engineering's doing something.
So I can't get any background. I can't get any background music?
Yeah, just 1 minute.
Oh, okay.
Can we sing?
Is everything okay? Okay, all right. No, no singing. He would say all the nice things that I want to hear all the while talking about us building a future together. The first time that we had sex was on his birthday, which we went away for the night and we had a nice time. And here's the funny part, Wendy. He was holding my hand or putting his arms around me and the whole bit. I told him that I was separated, Wendy, even though I'm still married. He even invited me to his birthday get-together with all of his friends. Now, I didn't go to that part. Anyway, we were kicking it, but then he started saying, I don't want a relationship. I don't want a girl. I'm aggressive and stuff. And I told him I didn't want to be in a relationship either. He's no longer working with me. He works at the Time Warner. I've driven past his job to bring him lunch and nice stuff, and then I go about my business. Anyway, the problem is now he's totally bugging out. I call, and all of a sudden he's too busy. He says he'll call me back, and he never does. I've asked him many times, Wendy, if you don't want to be with me, let me know. But he won't say. So what does he want from me, Wendy? It's not sex, because we're not active like that, and I'm the one who usually calls him for sex. Why doesn't he just tell me to leave him alone? I know it's what I gotta do, but a small part of me does want a relationship with him. Please help. P.S. My friends say stop calling. I try, but it's almost impossible. How do I stop thinking about this dude when I fell in love with him? You got way too much going on. You're 35 years old, you're married, you got 2 kids, a 3-year-old and a 5-year-old, and you got a 28-year-old jump off. First of all, the rules of jumping off, at least as, you know, that I've gotten from you all, the experts, and I've compiled my own little rules in my head of, you know, what they really should be. You don't need to call a jump off to say it's over. It's just over. You don't need to return a phone call. You don't need to, and you definitely don't need to be hanging out with your jump off at your jump off's friends' parties. And as far as catching feelings, what part of the manual did you not get? You might have caught feelings for him, and sometimes that's human nature, but please, with all that, I love him and I want to have a relationship with him. You lied on his sword. Now it's up to you to either jimmy your way off or learn how to deal with the emotions that you. Why don't you get back with your marriage? All this, I dropped by his job to bring him lunch. Are you out of your mind? Are you out of your mind? Where in the jump off handbook did dropping off lunch at a job, like going away? Where did you get an overnight? A lot of wives want to know. Where did you get a free night to be with your jump off, where your kids weren't looking for you and your husband wasn't talking about, you know, in your spot in the bed? Where's she at? Where'd you get that night? How'd you do that? You've lost your mind. You've lost your mind. You're about to lose everything else along with it, including the respect of your 2 kids, who one day will understand what mommy did in this relationship. You know, with daddy. People do it all the time. I know people jump off all the time, but if you're going to be jumping off and you're a married person, you better be understanding what the hell the rules of the game are. The other person is just there for whatever kind of pleasure you're getting. You're not, and even if you do fall in love with the other person, you're not supposed to actually be talking about that. What the hell? What does he want with you and your 2 kids? Think about it. You are a form of excitement. He's 28, you're 35, so you're the older woman. You've got 2 kids, so you got the seasoned cat trap. You've been married for 8 years. Are you really ready to throw all that away on being in love with the next man? And you better stay out of his office place and away from his parties and stop all that hand holding and arm linking and all that other kind of stuff. Anything romantical you want to do with a jump off better be done in 4 walls. You know, Goose, you understand? And you don't understand what I'm saying. And I'm not talking about 4 walls of a restaurant where you're lingering over each other's gazes in the flickering light. I'm talking about 4 walls of the jump off spot, where there's nothing in the room but a mattress and a box spring. That's it. What the hell? And he doesn't want you, by the way. A 28-year-old man does not want you with your 2 kids. There are exceptions to that rule. Those exceptions would be like Ashton wanting Demi, because Demi's got all this money to put her kids where? Back there. You understand what I'm saying? He doesn't want you. You're out of your mind. You need to drop this right now. You're getting way too carried away. I need to send you a copy of the jump off manual. Crazy. There's a college student looking for employment on line number 5. She's having trouble, Sandra. Yeah. Sandra, hi, it's Wendy.
Hi, Wendy. How are you?
So here you are with your degree in one hand.
Oh no, I'm still in school.
Oh.
I'm a full-time student and I work full-time.
Okay.
Now my problem is it's really quick. I'll tell you really quick. It's a 3-part problem. I work at a really good job. I like it. However, there's no benefits.
Yeah.
No room for upward mobility. I've worked here for 3 years. Took 1 day off. I mean, I run the office. My boss cannot run the office without me. However, he is not giving me a raise in the last 3 years.
Wow.
Everyone has been telling me to ask him for it. I don't want to, because if he doesn't give me the raise, then I don't want to feel that, that awkwardness around. I'm looking for a new job, but, it's really hard out there.
Yeah.
I don't know what to do. Do you think I should ask him for a raise or just, stick with it and just look for another job?
Well, you have to realize that because you work full time, you are part of the real world, and if you don't ask, you're never going to get. You've been working there for 3 years, and you're even contemplating asking for a raise. That should be a given. Yes, get off this phone and prepare your proposal.
Yeah.
Yes, ask him for a raise.
Yeah.
Take care.
Go
ahead.
I was hearing, you're looking for interns.
Yes.
Do you guys ever look for full-time, administrative assistant?
Yes, they usually come from the intern pool. I like to see how people work for free before I, get them working for money.
Okay.
Yes, I'm sorry.
Okay, well, thank you very much. Love the show.
Thank you.
You have a good day.
Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Yeah, besides, I'm one of those people, I believe in upward mobility. Like, if you're here as an intern and you're grinding it out, there's no reason that if I have a position open as a producer and you were producing, that you, Taryn, queen of all interns, shouldn't be considered for producer. I mean, that's all a part of the communications major thing. There's specific things I look for people. Zoe working for money now, too. I mean, people, All right, Keena's on line number 6. She's married to...
New caller.
Oh, wow. Okay.
2 and 7.
Line number 7. I don't have what that is in front of me. Hello? Hi, it's Wendy. How are you?
Hi.
Hi. Well, no, I can't be on the speakerphone, though.
Sorry.
It's okay.
Hi, Wendy.
Hi. It doesn't say in the computer what's going on.
Okay, here's the deal. My friend Kim has been waiting on the phone, and she has a very weak bladder, and she had to run to the bathroom super quick, and she's coming back in like 1 second. Oh, here she is.
Okay.
Okay, Wendy. Hang on. Hi, Wendy. How are you?
Hi, Kim.
I just wanted to say that I love your show.
Thank you.
And I'm only wanted to tell you something about Denise Richards. I agree with you. She's a total skank. I think that she knew all about Sheen before she started marrying him.
Yes.
He always had his slice thing, and that's always something yes. We are on the air, right?
Yes, but I have to get ready to go because it's advice hour. But
I apologize.
It's okay, Kim. I'm going to be dissecting that, though, in the hour of truth.
All right, and thank you so much. And I love you, Wendy. Have a very good life.
Thank you, Kim. Oh, thank you. Bye-bye. I don't know that the applause is right for that. Have a very good life. That sounds a little cryptic to me, like, what are you trying to say? Ooh, dear Wendy. This is titled, How Can I Live in the Suburbs Without Sticking Out? She says, Wendy, I have a quick question that I hope you can help me with. I'm a 26-year-old black woman married for 1 year. My husband is 25. He's Arabic. And I've been with him for 5 years. We have a 3-year-old son. I'm one of those moms who likes to wear cleavage shirts and tight Luella jeans from Target. They fit just like 7 jeans, Wendy, I swear. My husband is totally secure and even encourages my sassiness. Well, recently, through a family business venture for him and a publishing deal for me, I signed as a songwriter. We were able to buy a home in the suburbs of New Jersey. Well, Wendy, here, I feel like I don't fit in. My husband is Arabic, but he wears Rocawear and big face watches and comes down the street loudly bumping Jeezy. I wear my BB, my jabot, my stilettos, so we definitely stick out. Damn, we're going to go into a break. All right, I got to pick up in this one in the next break. Keep it where you guys got it, okay? Thanks.
Some people you can relate to on other things and what you and your mate don't relate to. You need that emotional jump off sometimes.
The Wendy Williams Experience.
All over town, and everybody's making their choice.
Great!
Hey, you got a chance to pick your pleasure today. Where you at?
North South.
Congrats, baby!
Listen weekdays for the winning time. 7:15 a.m., 12:15 p.m., and 6:15 p.m.
BLS, you're caller number 10. Congratulations.
Oh, my God.
The choice is yours.
Thank you.
And it's your present from us.
Thank you very much.
Well, thank you very much.
You made the right choice. Listen for your chance to win. Pick your pleasure. 107.5
WBLS.
Wow. Today's R&B and Classic Soul. Special shout out to the Twisted Cookie on the fax machine, the 35-year-old. First of all, how you doing? And second of all, I think that you need to leave it because you're messing up the circle. And you just, one one roll in the hay is not. I know it's the only thing on your mind right now. Find another woman. Find somebody else. You're messing up the circle, and you're 35. At 35, a woman begins to need her friendships with the circle, if you're even fortunate enough to have a circle, more than ever. Particularly because you're a single woman. It's not, like you have, your family, like a husband and kids and things like that. You rely on your girls. Please don't mess up the circle. That's like Miranda sleeping with Carrie. You know what I'm saying? Just leave it alone. Please, Twisted Cookie. Thank you. She slept with one of the circle. I don't like it. Yeah, she's going to mess up. She's 35. It's not like she's 25. She can build a new circle. She's 35. And that's just about the time girls start getting diagnosed with breast cancer and stuff. I mean, you're going to need your circle. I hate to sound doom and gloom, but what the hell? My girlfriend Lisa called me a week and a half ago to tell me that her smoke break coworker died of a brain aneurysm. Whoa. There you go. How old was the coworker, you say? 35.
Wow.
Perfectly healthy. Wow. Died of an aneurysm in the brain. Exactly. So, you never know what can happen. You got to hold on to the people that you have. Stop messing around with them sexually. That messes up everything. Sex complicates issues. So this hour of the show is brought to you by Judge Joe Brown. This coming Saturday, May 6th, African Voice Magazine is hosting an evening of poetry and dance at Columbia University's Lerner Hall. Now that is at 116th Street in Broadway, okay? Gary Bird is going to be, what is the Imhotep part of Gary Bird's name? Is that like not
Imhotep
calling it?
Is like a salutation.
Like doctor.
Yeah.
A salutation in what language is Imhotep?
Maybe Yoruba.
Where's Gary from? Swahili. Where's Gary from? Gary, I never heard of Gary even speak with an accent. He's a run-of-the-mill black American Negro, right? With the Imhotep. He's conscious.
Brother.
Imhotep. Gary, how come you never told me when... Hey, Luella, what does Imhotep stand for? I mean, what does that mean? Is that like the honorable, like Dr. Gary Bird? He's
from Buffalo.
He's from He's from Buffalo.
It's like a king.
That's one of the Egyptian kings' names.
Oh, it's what? That's a pharaoh's name. And Imhotep is an Egyptian title.
That's his name.
That's his name.
That's a pharaoh's name.
So that would like me calling you Bob Goose. You have two first names. Bob Goose. Gary, we're just joking with you. Imhotep Gary Bird, the Honorable King Imhotep Gary Bird, is going to be hosting. It's going to be a wonderful night of poetry. And once again, that's this Saturday, May 6th. African Voice Magazine is hosting an evening of poetry and dance at Columbia University's Lerner Hall. Imhotep Gary Bird will be there. Very nice. So nothing is in my computer as far as who's on the telephone. However, we can just press and chat. Just press and chat. Sure. Hello. Hi, it's Wendy.
Hi, Wendy. It's T.
Hi, T. It's Advice Hour. How can I help you?
First of all, you are a friend in my head.
Thank you, T.
I was calling because I'm a mother of triplets, and I was calling about some advice on plastic surgery.
Okay.
They're 4 years old, and my wife, yes, I said wife.
Okay, how you doing?
She doesn't think I need it. I went
Need what? Plastic surgery? Which procedure?
Like liposuction and a tummy tuck.
Okay.
Because I had no feeling in my stomach at all from having a triplet. I went from 130 pounds to 212 pounds.
Oh my gosh! How much do you weigh now?
212 pounds.
Well, that's your fault. The babies were born 4 years ago. What's the matter with you? You could have at least brought that down to 195, at least below the 200 mark. There's something about when the scale hits over 200 pounds that just makes a woman go crazy.
I know.
I'll never forget the first time I saw over 200 pounds. I was like, what? You gotta be. If I just weighed 199, that would seem better than two,
I know.
Yeah.
I know. And I'm so busy all the time. I have other children. We have 3 other children, and I have no time.
Wow. Do you have money?
Yes.
I mean, for plastic surgery, it's expensive.
I know, but she can afford it.
Oh, you're making her pay for it, and she's the one saying no. Well, what you need to do is get your own stash money. Although I have to admit, and I'll treat you like a married couple, the way like I'm a married woman.
Mm-hmm.
If my husband, unfortunately, was against me getting plastic surgery, then I would have to wait for the divorce. I would. Fortunately, I was one of those smart cookies. I knew what I wanted to do upon the first date. Just set it all out. So I don't know where this is going, but you just need to know that eventually I'm going to get some plastic surgery. Are you down with that? Yup. Okay, good. Let's proceed.
See, and I keep trying to talk her into it, and I'm like, I really want to look good this summer, blah, blah, blah. Yeah. And, she seems like she's,
I have to tell you, it's your body, but it's a mutual decision.
Yeah.
With 60% of the decision making lying on the person getting the surgery. That would be good.
Gotcha.
So, I wish you well. I see you live in Pennsylvania here in the computer. You're going to check out Dr. Memeniscus?
Of course.
Yeah.
I already called for my consult.
He's the best. And he does financing. You with all the 7 kids.
Oh,
and in case you want to slow down the payments.
See, that's where I think I'm going to have to go.
Although, financially speaking, I don't find it prudent to finance anything but a house. Maybe a set of wheels, because that gets you to your job. I tell you, financing plastic surgery is the most absurd thing I've ever heard in my life.
Yeah, but we have enough money of course we have a lot of children.
Yes.
But we have enough money that I can splurge on some, like liposuction to the legs, tummy stuff,
Then go ahead, talk it over with your husband. Or would that be your wife?
That would be my wife.
Oh, wow. You're the man, but you're the one who had to carry the kids?
No, she's more of a, a stud-like woman, and I'm more effeminate. I carry the kids, so.
Oh, so your wife.
She makes the money.
Your wife and wife.
Yes.
Okay. Well, the more masculine of the two of you.
Well, she's the more masculine.
Yeah.
I am the more, feminine.
Talk that over with your husband. You say. All right. Well, take care, T. Have a good day.
You too. Thank you.
Bye-bye. Line number 6. It's really hard for me to talk to a 19-year-old who has no ambition. Hi, Deidre. How are you?
I'm all right. How you doing, Wendy?
I'm doing fine. I see you're calling from Memphis. Nice to have you here.
Oh, I listen to you every day.
Thank you.
You are so real. That's why I had to call.
Thanks, Dee. So it says you have no ambition to go to school?
Because this is how it is, Wendy. I'm 19 years old. I just graduated last year of 05, okay?
Yes.
And I went straight to this institution, Concord Institution or whatever. Okay, it's a 12-month program for surgical technology. Here I am. I'm at like the halfway point, and it's like I took a break last month because I was going through a whole lot of things in my personal life. And so when I came back, my whole class had moved on, so I'm like in a different class setting. And it's like it just feels so different, Wendy. It's just, I don't know, Wendy. It's just, I don't feel like going. It's like, what else is there for me to do if I don't do this? It's like I don't have anything else to fall back on. You see what I'm saying? Well, that's supposed to be serving as your motivation for pressing on. I mean, I visited Memphis, and it's a nice city, but you don't want to stay stuck on stupid in Memphis for the rest of your life, do you? Exactly. No.
You want to elevate yourself and maybe live in, a nice house there, or maybe move from Memphis. But whatever it is you want to do, you don't want to be at 25 years old, 4 kids, and no good baby's father and no education to fall back on, do you?
No.
Yeah.
I guess I'm kind of calling you to see what should I do to keep my mind on that. You see what I'm saying?
Focus on what would happen to you if you don't. You'd be stuck on stupid in Memphis.
Okay.
All right.
Thank you, Wendy.
Take care. Bye-bye. People ask me that, sometimes, well, how did you stay motivated, to focus on your career? Please. I had no choice. I had the ha-ha-ha from my parents. And make no mistake, somewhere in those hugs and love, the loving hugs and the sympathy for failure is, you should have been a newswoman like we wanted you. Hey, please, I had nothing to fall back on. I didn't come from a rich family that could, give me, please, the laughter of failure kept me motivated to succeed. Anyway, all right, so you all keep it where you got it. We are going to continue. I'm going to pick up on that fax that I got from that suburban woman in her stilettos and her Arabic husband and the suburbs. Plus, more and the people poll question, and then we gossip through the hour of truth next hour on the Wendy Experience here on BLS.
It's about that time again. The Wendy Williams Experience is searching for new interns. Come join the Wendy Williams Experience. Fax a cover letter and resume to 866-WendyFans.
Broadcast, journalism, mass communication, radio, TV, and film, and music majors only.
All applicants must be over 18 years of age. Currently enrolled as a sophomore, junior, or senior in a college or university. Internship hours are 11:30 a.m. to 7 p.m.
Good luck and thanks for listening to the Wendy Williams Experience. Oh yeah, and if you don't plan on grinding, you can put that where? Back there.
I have to make up for bad eating habits yesterday. Oh, I ate. Have you ever picked up the Entenmann's chocolate-covered cake or chocolate lover's cake? Yeah, well, we were supposed to bring that out to the boathouse to our friends. Yeah, because, you don't go empty-handed. I said, well, let me just get something real quick. I had no idea what kind of morsel was in this box. I got to tell you something. I ate from 12 o'clock to 3 o'clock. If you look at a clock and you see, how big a piece that is. I ate that piece, the 12 o'clock to 3 o'clock piece, in about 20 minutes just standing there. And then after The Sopranos, I came back downstairs and I ate the 3:15 to 3:25. Yes, I ate almost half the cake. So today I'm like, I'm feeling terrible. I took a fistful of Correctol today and just go away. Here's the people poll question results from Friday. We asked the question, is it wrong to keep photos and letters of your ex when you're in a new relationship? 30% of you answered yes, and 70% of you all answered no. The thing is, it depends on how the relationship is that you're in, So you're in a new relationship. I wouldn't throw away. But what if you're married? Or what if you've been together now as boyfriend and girlfriend for 5 years? But in a new relationship, I go with no, too. No. Well, today's people poll question is one of those morality questions. And remember, we can't see you as you answer yes or no at thewendywilliamsexperience.com. But the question is based on LaJoyce and coming in on the show on Friday with her book read. And the question is, would you take care of your husband or wife if you found out that they are HIV positive, of which, Taryn, why didn't you put AIDS? Because AIDS is more, serious in terms of, damn, Taryn, change it to AIDS. All right, she's going to change it to AIDS the way LaJoyce's husband was. If you found out they had AIDS and didn't tell you. No. Goose? No. How long you been married, Goose?
Quite a while.
Over 10 years?
No.
Over 5 years? Just under 5 years. Yeah. Well, we're both married and we both said no. You have AIDS and you didn't tell me? What?
It's a wrap.
Are you out of your mind? No. Anyway, so Karen, can you just change that to AIDS? Thanks. Okay, now back to this facts that I left you off on. So my husband is Arabic and wears Rocawear and big face watches and comes down the block bumping loudly Young Jeezy. I wear my BB, my stilettos, my Jabot, and definitely looked and act different than the other women here. My 28-inch hair weave is the no-no, I'm sure. First of all the moms wear khakis and pleats. I do the PTA thing, Wendy, but I hate the people I have to interact with. My husband is too hood to be involved in anything more than attending games. I love where we live, but I hate these nosy people. I love what the community has to offer my child. How can I still be me and be here? That's from Jermaine. Jermaine, simply by being yourself. I mean, you're singing to the choir here. You sounded like a more extreme version of me. Even I have shorter clip-ins to wear when I go to Target. I don't wear 22-inch hair and 18-inch hair. Not on the weekends, no. But I will say this. There's room for people like me and you in the suburbs without us changing. Because I'm not wearing flat front khakis, loafers, and I'm not carrying a Todd bag. I know they're made very well, but the Todd bag is not me. That's my older conservative sister, Wanda. You be you, with respect for what you're trying to accomplish, and the ultimate goal of you being at PTA meeting is the betterment of your child. So what does it help for you to wear, a shirt lower than low, and you know what you're doing, and tighter than tight, you know what you're doing. Tight, fine, low, yeah, I'm down for all that. But, don't insult the PTA meeting. Don't cram who you are down their throat. And the things that come out of your mouth, for instance, I'm just using a PTA meeting, for example, should be things that are right in line with them. For them to say, oh, wow, this crazy whore over here, because, that's a suburban knee-jerk reaction, I guess, to women like me and you. This crazy whore over here is really about her suburban mom wisteria lane business. We should not judge a book by its cover. Damn, you know what? As a matter of fact, I wish I could walk in heels that high. Some of them might say in their minds, God, she looks great in those jeans. God, I got on the mom flat front khakis. There is interchange that can be done in the suburbs. You've got to be more open and accepting and keep your eye on the prize. And the eye on the prize is that you love what the community has to offer your child. While blending in this community, you don't want to be the freak mom that stands out so terribly. You don't want to work against your child trying to blend and be a part of the suburbs. And as far as your husband, don't be satisfied with him just going to games. No, your husband's also got to pitch in and do his part too. Now, I'd make a lot of jokes here, but I do have to say that you make these PTA people understand who you are, just like you understand who they are, and you do it. Why? Because you want your kid to fit in and blend and have a healthy upbringing in the suburbs where you paid so much money for your house and so much for your taxes and stuff. And no, your husband's got to do more than just go to games. He's got to be able to go to PTA meetings when need be, drop off at birthday parties when needed, and handle, your husband's got to be as much a part of this as you, in theory. Sometimes you don't have to call into action, but, once every, 2 months. But when he's ready, when you need him to be called, he's got to turn his GZ down. Sorry. He'll get it if you explain to him what you explained to me, which is that your son is benefiting. And I thank you. There's room for us in the suburbs. Keep it low, keep it tight. But just like that.
Play the game.
Play the game while still being yourself. And no, I've never checked out the Luella jeans at Target. I love the T-shirts, though, and the skirts and stuff. Oh, yeah, Luella's at Target, and the suburbs are going wild. Keep it where you got it, everybody. The Hour of Truth is coming up next.
It's Wendy, man.
So I called you like 3 weeks ago about me and my boy had a threesome and how he touched my butt. He came to me saying that he really want to have sex with me.
Well, you should have known that when he touched your butt.
The Wendy Williams Experience.
What up, everybody? This is your boy Neo. Yo, what the deal? This your boy Genuine.
What it is, man, it's your homeboy T-Pain. You already know you're listening to the Wendy Williams Experience.
So much to talk with you guys about. First of all, shout out to Richard. Richard, thank you for remembering Charlemagne. He'd be very happy to know that. Charlemagne had some sort of appointment this afternoon in South Carolina. So when he left for the weekend to host his radio show at our radio station in South Carolina, and then I think he had 2 parties to host this past weekend. And then today he had some sort of meeting where he couldn't wear his uniform, that white tee and those baggy jeans. Girls, you know what I'm talking about. I think he might have actually had to put on a suit for this meeting. I'm not exactly sure. It has nothing to do with the show, but just he's not here today. Charlemagne, man. I got a blind item for you, but I can tell you already it's hoops. This is from my friend John Murray. Hoops is getting the whoriest name in the business. I got to tell you right now, and it ain't good. And you know what? VH1, in a weird kind of way, it's reflecting back on you guys because you've made nobody sign any papers. I mean, people call people who sign on American Idol's dotted lines crazy, and you're like indentured servants and stuff. But there's a difference there's somewhere between American Idol and the looseness of the VH1 Flavor Flav show. There's a common median. So this whore doesn't have to be running around the country whoring it out, embarrassing you as a show, taking. As far as I'm concerned, I could take or leave Flav's new show. I just can't. You know what I'm saying? Because I see it means absolutely nothing. I mean. You know what I mean? Nobody wants Flav like that. There were no papers drawn up to give anybody the impression that Flav perhaps was wanted. I mean, we believe whatever you put in front of us. We're the public. You should have had this whore sign some papers saying that, they had to at least go out and wax, do something. Listen to this. Sources say this newly popular reality, this is done by my friend John Murray, but he gives choices, which I love about John's. Myra never gives choices. Sources say that a newly popular reality show star has not only broken up one relationship, but she has also been quietly having an affair with a very married NBA hoop star. Could this player by any chance be playing with the Philadelphia 76ers? I know about all the Philadelphia spottings and those two together. It's real. Sources tell me that said TV talent has been secretly sleeping with the NBA baller between partying and making appearances with her new rapper boyfriend. Would that be T.I. and A.I.? Let's hope this love triangle, John goes on to say, does not cause these two pint-sized men to come to blows. Nobody's fighting over that used-up cat trap. Don't nobody want a whore except for a man who's whoring. When T.I.'s ready to be serious about a woman, it's not going to be her. He'll go back to his baby's mother. At least with Tiny, he has time invested. I don't know whether she'll take him. That's totally up to Tiny. And when AI's finished with this whore, he'll go back to his wife, who's held him down all these years, and she will take him back like she's done. Unfortunately, like she's done all these years. Nobody's coming to blows over this whore. You all want a piece of this? 866-GET-WENDY. Funny, while I was telling that story, the phones were totally dry. Nobody was on the phone at all. As soon as I said you want a piece. You know how I picture you guys listening sometimes? Like sometimes I'm having a conversation with you all, and I look over to the phone banks, and I see absolutely dead crickets, nobody ringing. And I used to be really insulted by that, like, oh my gosh, nobody's listening. But now in my mind, I'm figuring you're sitting and, looking at the radio like we're having a conversation. And then as soon as I finish talking about what it is that you want me to, that I'm talking about, then you get on the phone. Then you can break for the action. I love that. I appreciate that. I try to keep the stories interesting here as much as I can. Let's deal with Charlie and Denise and Richie and Heather. Here's this whore, Denise Richards, giving an interview. He didn't want kids with her. Do you know that? Here's what she says. I became pregnant with our daughter, Sam, in 2003 and gave birth March of 2004. Charlie told me he didn't want to have babies and asked me to have an abortion. He was furious when the baby turned out to be a girl. I didn't know. Still makes you worse. She's trying to make him look bad, Listen to this one. Charlie was gambling heavy. He told me he wanted to be present for the birth of our daughter, Lola. However, on the way to the hospital, Charlie was on the telephone placing bets. I was having a C-section. As I was being wheeled into surgery, Charlie's attention was diverted to the pager with the result of the betting. Tramp, you knew what you got when you married him. Charlie Sheen's behavior is nothing new. Tramp. Here she's talking about he's using drugs. Charlie continued to take prescription pain medication, Xanax, Ativan, but I did not observe any medical condition that would cause him to take these drugs. He would purchase drugs on the internet, the drugs called Narco, another one called Ativan, and another one Xanax. Charlie threatened me that I better not tell anyone he was using these drugs. Shut up. She's trying to play like Pollyanna. You knew what you were marrying, you tramp. He hired prostitutes. Charlie told me that he had a madam and that the prostitutes were emailing him. I also discovered that Charlie belonged to several sex sites. Shut up. Shut up. He visited pornography websites. I discovered some pornography websites that he belonged to, which I found very disturbing. One website was promoting young girls who looked, young girls and girls who looked underage with pigtails and braces and no pubic hair. Shut up. He verbally abused me. Charlie told me that he hoped that I'd get breast cancer and died. He hoped that I'd get cancer in my face and die. Charlie knew that this was especially hurtful because my mother had cancer and was a very close friend of mine who's been treated to breast cancer. We don't believe a word you say when you talk about very close friend because you effed around with the husband of your very close friend, you tramp. Did you hear that he called her the N-word? You know, the lips. I mean, to a very white, tight-lipped man like Charlie Sheen. I guess those are black girl lips, you know, Denise Richards' lips. He used to call her the N-word. He hit her and threatened to kill her. Charlie, wait, hi, lady. Hi, woman. It's Wendy. You on the radio? He became very angry and told me that was my last warning. Why isn't she? What's going on with her? He put our kids in danger. He destroyed our property. Who cares? What kind of property did he destroy? Charlie took a large wedding photo, 4 feet by 6 feet. Wait, hold on. Let me picture this little trailer park travesty. A 4 foot by 6 foot. Oh, it's probably on one of those big mansion-esque walls, though. So, you know, it's not like when you walk into our house and, you know, the ceilings are only 8 feet by 2 feet. You know what I mean? And you got this big, you know. Was I the only one watching Scarface last night, by the way? Oh, you saw it too. Was that before or after The Sopranos?
I watched it before.
Me too. Yeah. Yeah. All right. Hello. Hi, it's Wendy.
Hi, hello.
Hi, what are we talking about?
Oh, I just had a new word that me and my friends in the salon put together for the Ebonics dictionary.
Okay, run it past us. Come on.
Okay, well, what do you call a white girl who wants to be ghetto?
What? A wigger?
A wet hoe.
A what?
A wet hoe.
A wet hoe?
A wet hoe.
A wet hoe.
Mm-hmm.
That's cute, but wigger has really been, you know, wigger has really just been around so long that I
know, but wet hoe is just
a wet hoe.
It just says so much.
A wet hoe.
It just says so much.
A wet hoe.
A wet hoe.
Wet hoe.
Or you can just say that wet hoe.
Yeah, it's too difficult. It's too difficult to figure out. You use that amongst your circle, though.
Yeah.
Yeah, you have to have your own secret language.
Yeah, we do, because we see so many of them.
Yeah.
With the big door knockers and whatnot.
Yeah.
Couple with gold teeth.
Yeah, a wigette. Yeah.
Yeah, that's one too.
Yeah, thanks for calling.
Thank you.
Oh my gosh. Did you guys hear about Mr. Cooper, Mark Curry, friend to the show? He underwent major surgery last week. He had a freak accident at his house. He was burned severely after accidentally dropping an aerosol can near a water heater. The can and the heater exploded like a bomb. He burned the majority of his body and a portion of his face. Mark Carey hanging with Mr. Cooper. He underwent surgery. Despite the surgery, he still has his funny bone. That wasn't burnt. He changed his voicemail greeting. Fire by the Ohio Players. Nelly Hot and Her. And The Roof is on Fire by Rockmaster Scott and the Dynamic 3. And I'm lying to you not. He changed his voicemail. God, can you believe that? Yeah, you got to be careful. Wow. When you're lighting your crack pipe next to a heater. I'm only playing, Mark Carey. You get well soon. He was supposed to be Kirstie Alley's love interest on Fat Actress. And I've never seen the show. I had never seen it when it was actually on, so I never got a chance to see the comic stylings of. Hey, by the way, Taryn, my super producer, is getting the new song called Weekend by Janet Jackson. Taryn, you're still working on that, right? I heard it's got like a really hot dance throwback 80s vibe thing going on. Oh, wait a minute. A bona fide music director isn't here. Stacey Anderson. You haven't heard it?
No.
How do we get it before you?
I don't know. Taryn must have done something right.
Well, You know, Taryn does what she has to keep the show afloat. Where is it?
She's working on it, actually.
Oh, she's working on it.
I'm going to get it first now.
All right.
Now I'm going to get it.
Well, I can just give everybody the website of where you all can go to it. JanetJackson.com. If you want to hear it. I just need her to do something like It's All For You. You know, just a nice feel, just, you know, a nice woo.
All For You was Glow of Love, right?
Yes.
Yeah, okay, same thing.
I need to be able to throw back the roof and just, you know, celebrate life. And, you know when you're alone in your car and one of those songs comes on and you know what you do? And be damned anybody riding next to you who sees you. Who cares? I can't believe Mark Kerry burned himself up like that.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Isn't that something, world?
Wow.
Time magazine's come out with their 100 most influential people on the list. Puffy's on it. Bill Gates and Condoleezza Rice, Katie Couric, and Daddy Yankee's on it. Actually, the reason why is because they say he's introduced a whole other style of music to the world. I mean, these lists change every year. I wouldn't, put my panties in a bunch because, don't be upset because you're not on this list. There's always next year. You just work hard this year, you guys. Puffy's still on it. And I know what you're thinking. Well, when's the last time he had a hit? Cherry Dennis is one hit. Well, I know what you're thinking, but it's for his business moves. It's for his moves. He's got the #1 fragrance in the world. I know he's got a canceled cooking show, so he stepped out of his lane for a minute. Nobody remembers that, though. What people remember is this fragrance, Biggie, and the longest running poster in Times Square, New York, USA. Power. Business wheeled and dealed. I mean, true, he did lose his woman's line. For some reason, people don't remember things like that. I mean, he's still making it happen. He's still making it happen. So congratulations, Puffy. How you doing? And when you wake up, you'll find out for yourself what happened to Meredith on The View and why she's leaving the show. And wake up. And by the way, it's avid listener, not an Advent listener. And wake up.
It's Wendy, man.
I've been talking to this young lady. She called me at home and I was listening to your show. And she says that she doesn't know any straight guys that listen to the Wendy Williams show.
No. Plenty of straight guys listen to the show.
All right, so yeah.
Ow.
So what should I tell her? Just
tell her how you doing.
The Wendy Williams Experience.
107.5 WBLS, saluting extraordinary members of our community and taking pride in their accomplishments.
Today we salute Vi Higginson, a radio and television personality, a producer and writer, and first woman in New York primetime radio, WBLS. She's named a Harlem hero in a public art and education project at the Schomburg Center for Research in Black Culture. She is an ordained interfaith minister and CEO of the Mama Foundation for the Arts in Harlem, which is dedicated to presenting, preserving, and promoting the history of our people. Vi Higginson is an example of someone who is living black history every day.
107.5 WBLS, New York's only black-owned and operated FM radio station, living and celebrating black history every day. The Universal Circus at Prospect Park now through April 30th. May 2nd through May 7th at Yankee Stadium in the Bronx. Tuesday, May 2nd is Steve Harvey Morning Show night.
Yeah. Vi was just a tad bit before I started paying attention to WBLS. I have to say this is more my sister's station when we were growing up as kids. I was on, Harry Harrison, Dan Ingram and all them, the top 40 music. What shift here at WBLS did Vi do? That commercial that Ann Tripp just did said she's New York's first primetime woman on radio, which is a fabulous thing. I would just love to know what shift she did. Middays? Probably middays. That's the girl shift. No, not mornings. I'd be interested. I'm assuming not mornings because anytime that BLS had morning shows back then, it was Ken Spiderweb. Who was here before Ken Spiderweb? Who did mornings at BLS before Ken Webb? It was Ken Webb in the morning here at BLS. I don't know. I can't even think. Maybe some of you, radionistas. You would think now Vinny would jump on the phone. Instead, no. He jumps on the phone to criticize this show, my program director. Jumps on the phone to try to reel me in about something. But let me ask a piece of history germane to the radio station. He's nowhere to be found. Look, nowhere to be found. I just wanted to know a simple thing. Nowhere to be found. This hour of the Wendy Williams Experience is brought to you by Judge Joe Brown. One of my coworkers, Stacy, was just telling me that Ivana Trump's new show on Oxygen is really good. Stacy said she was watching it this weekend. It's real good. LA Weight Loss, 1-800-448-TRIM, 1-800-448-TRIM. I know it's difficult to lose weight. It's particularly difficult to lose weight and keep the weight off. I won't go so far as to say anyone can lose weight, but virtually anyone can lose weight. The problem is keeping it off for a lifetime of healthy eating and life-changing ways of approaching your diet and exercise. LA Weight Loss teaches you that. 1-800-448-TRIM. Everybody who gets on LA Weight Loss will get a one-on-one weight loss counselor, which is terrific because your weight loss counselor is there as your support system while you're losing weight. There are over 600 LA weight loss locations. There's got to be one near you or where you work. Okay? I'm going to give you the telephone number again, and I'm going to leave you with this thought.
You know I love to do that to you, baby.
Thank you. I'm going to leave you with this thought. What diet, weight loss program do you know of where they're not pushing you, making you feel terrible because you're not going to the gym and breaking a sweat? What diet, weight loss program do you know of that you're not forced to take pills? What diet, weight loss program do you know of where everything is not constant, prepackaged food, real food for real people? It's LA Weight Loss. Whether you cook it yourself, whether you go out to restaurants, or whether you stop at the grocer's freezer and get a lean cuisine. That's up to you. I got to tell you something. 1-800-448-TRIM. That's the beginning to the rest of your life. 1-800-448-TRIM. Thank you, LA Weight Loss, for what you've done for me and the millions of people also. Wendy, the new edition of Bobby Brown, tore the Beacon Theater up on Friday night. Please talk about that on your show. That's from Ebony. Ebony, actually, Taryn Donatian, my producer, went to see a new edition and Bobby on Friday. Bobby did show up to that Friday appearance. Charlemagne went on Thursday. Bobby wasn't there on Thursday. He showed up Friday. I think Taryn said he did Mr. Telephone Man and My Prerogative, and she was there too late for Casey and JoJo, but they were the same mess Friday as they were Thursday. And New Edition tore it up. Taryn was saying that she wishes that, some of these new guys and new groups today could have some of the showmanship, just an ounce of it that New Edition has. Because now they're pushing 40, they're pushing into something other. But, some of these new guys could... Hey, New Edition, as far as I'm concerned, if they can stop fighting, or if they cannot fight, they can perform until forever. Just like the Whispers, just like the OJs, just like the Four Tops. They got their paycheck. And Bobby will be in and out. They will accept him because he does a great job also. Anyway, tomorrow, everybody, is the biggest episode ever on The Biggest House. It's a medical mystery. Wait, what is this? Tomorrow, get ready for the biggest house episode ever on Fox 5. It's a medical mystery so big, so baffling. What the hell is this?
House.
Oh, The Biggest House, the show. Oh, do you watch that? What is that about?
It's about medical stuff.
Oh, well, get ready because tomorrow night on Fox is the biggest one ever. Tomorrow at 9 p.m. and Wednesday at 8. All new episode, 2 new episodes. Tuesday at 9, Wednesday at 8. Only on Fox. So for all you House fans, get ready. Well, let's take some phone calls. We can just take them on the fly. Hello. Hello, hi, it's Wendy. How are you?
Hi, Wendy.
Hi.
You had called about Vi Higginson?
Yes, I was wondering what shift she had here on WBLS.
She was on the afternoon shift, and then after that came Lamar Renee and then Frankie Crocker. who was also the program director at that time.
Wait, no. I'm not. Okay, what years were they? Approximately, just approximately.
In the 72. I know it was in the early 70s.
Isn't that great? Who was on before her?
I think it was Ken Spiderweb.
No, Ken was the morning man here. Turn your radio down, though. Ken was the morning man. And then who did middays? Who came on after Ken? G. Keith Alexander, one of them people?
Yeah, G. Keith Alexander and Vi Higginson.
Yeah, go Vi.
It's a long time ago.
Yeah. That's hot. Yeah. All righty. Well, thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Yeah, we're celebrating 35 years of serving our community. I'm so glad there's so many of you who remember those days. Hello. Hi, it's Wendy.
Yeah.
How are you?
Fine.
Good. Nice to have you here.
Okay. Wait a minute.
Okay, have a nice day. Bye. Okay, so I'm getting rave reviews from the Dons and Divas footage that has been captured on DVD. Clarence, who, was in charge of the mailroom here at BLS. So I saw him on my way in today, and, he was like, Wendy, I got, one of those DVDs, because we had him in the office. We gave him a copy. He's like, wow, it was really great. The crowd is incredible. Shout out to everybody at Black Star Video. Lennox at 133rd. They've got the Dons and Divas DVD where you'll see performances by Trey Songz, Bobby Brown, Big Daddy Kane, just ripping it. You will see all kind of sexiness going on, including the red carpet arrivals of some of the stars and whatnot. This is the Dons and Divas that happened in December, and it's also available at the Urban Closet in Teaneck, New Jersey. This website called the Best Damn Mixtape.com, and also in Jersey City at Shirt Kings on Ocean Avenue. People they think that if you've never been to a Dons and Divas, you get a totally different perception of it when you see as it all goes down how just absolutely special it is. The next one's going to be on June 17th, but the footage that you'll see, it's a full DVD. It's like maybe 45 minutes. You'll be able to see all the action and I want to say Adina, and then I go to my friend Medina. I'm sorry. Between Adina Howard and Tyler Perry, they got me all messed up on your name. Medina is interviewing people in the crowd, all drinking and stuff. Hey. So, thank you very much, everybody who came to that Dons and Divas extravaganza. Our DVD is available. And then the next one, like I said, is June 17th. Okay, listen, we're going to continue with this break. We've got more gossip. I wanted to speak with you guys about the Bone Crusher. We wanted to talk with you about Foxy Brown, about Eddie Murphy. There's a lot happening. Prince, I need to tell you that story. Keep it here, okay? It's Wendy until 7 on WBLS.
Broadcasting live, it's the queen of radio, Wendy Williams.
Yeah. Woo, and here we are. A special shout out to Chris Saunders, who sends this from Memphis, Tennessee. Hey, Wendy, I'm here in Memphis, and now I see what you're talking about as far as so much music on your show. Is there anything you can do about it? We also get Star and Buck Wild in the morning here, and then you in the afternoon. Now, Star and Buck Wild play very little music on their show. When they do play music, they don't even play the whole song. I'm a big fan, Wendy. Keep up the good job. Chris, in the mornings where talk is at an all-time high, which I love, traffic and weather and stories and stuff. I'm just not down with the hours and everything. Yeah, mornings traditionally, yes, you do get a lot more talk in the mornings than you do any other time of day. And no, there's really nothing that I can do about it. Radio stations, want to play, 12 songs in a row. So, it is what it is, Chris. Let us just enjoy the time that we have between all the same damn music over and over again. Let's just enjoy our time together. All right, lovey? Speaking of Memphis, 3 6 Mafia. So yes, they got their Grammy, and a lot of the hoopla is already over because Prince had a big party at his house. From what I understand, he has parties on a pretty regular basis. It's kind of difficult to get turned away from a Prince party because he has them so much. Well, 3 6 Mafia got turned away on the heels of their historic Grammy win. Excuse me, Oscar win. Right. That was an Oscar. Didn't they win Oscar? Like best music. That was Oscar, right? Lakia, what did they win? They won an Oscar? Yes. So they didn't bum rush the set. From what I understand, they were just attempting to go to this party. I got this from All Hip Hop. They were attempting to go to the party, and Dave Chappelle was there, and Jermaine Dupri, and Alicia Keys, a few of the members of the time, and 3-6 Mafia got up to the door, and they were refused entry. They don't know why. Maybe something about that 3-6 and the question about the devil, even though they denied that in here. And you know how Prince is. Wow. Prince and his religion, and 3-6 and the 666, and well, you know, they denied that when they were here, but you never know. Anyway, they say he's not the biggest fan of rap music anyway, much less gangster rap, and so the guys, Juice and Paul, they took pictures, posted up against the mansion, you know, and then they left. So, by the way, everybody, the Dynasty reunion called Caviar and Catfights comes on Tuesday night at 10 p.m. Not really that interested, but if I'm around, I'll watch. What about you? Celebrity Fit Club, the new one, comes on in August. Now, Bone Crusher, as we were told by our friend Dr. Ian, is going to be a part of the Celebrity Fit Club 4, and so is Angie Stone. Those two should be interesting to watch. Tina Yothers from Family Ties, she played the youngest one. Not that interested. Carney Wilson, not that interested. Not that interested. I'm not that interested in the Ted Lange from Love Boat. Not that interested. But Bone Crusher and Angie Stone, sure. Yes. I ain't never scared. Okay. Capri's on line number 5. She's got a very interesting problem dealing with her husband. Hi, Capri. It's Wendy.
Hi, Wendy. How are you? How you doing?
All right. I love your name.
Thank you.
So do tell. What's going on?
Well, okay. Tell me what you would do. My husband found out about a year ago that he has a teenage daughter that the mother never told him that she had. So now they've been corresponding back and forth, and it's been a year. So he wants her to come up and vacation with us for the summer.
For the whole summer?
Well, all right, for a month of the summer.
Okay.
I personally don't want her up. But he really is a good husband. You know, he takes care of us and the kids. So I'm torn.
You asked me what I would do?
Yeah.
I would open up my front door to this girl and lock my shoes and my clothes. I'd lock my closets, but I'd open up my front door to her.
You would?
Yeah, I would.
Because?
Well, because you're meeting her by herself. You're not meeting her with her mother and all that stickiness of a mother situation going on. That's number one.
I already met her, but I already met her and the mother.
Okay, but meeting is one thing. I mean, you essentially you are this girl's stepmother.
Ew.
Well, she's going to be the first one that your husband pays for to go to college. It's not going to be your cute kids. I know you want them to be, but the first bit of college money is going towards this girl. Don't you want to know who you're dealing with? Don't you want to know the character? And you never know. Maybe you would have made yourself a decent teenage relationship. At the very least, you know, you would know that you hate her guts. You'll have your reasons why. Your husband will have the evidence, and she'll never get anything but a telephone call and a 10-cent card. At the most, what can happen is you could meet a girl who did not ask to be brought into this world, who is a teenager, who perhaps can use a little bit of guidance outside of her own mother, because you know how mothers can be. And
well, yeah, because her mother lied to her. And not even with.
And somewhere, well, you know what, though? So already this girl's wounded. Somewhere in your 35-year-old grown woman, I know this is not what you wanted me to say, but I'm not always the person that you all think that I am. I would open my home to this girl for a month. And I'm very serious about locking up my clothes.
Yeah, I am too.
Yeah, lock up your clothes. But other than that, sure, why not? Why not? Do you have children of your own already?
I do.
How old are they?
They're young. They're like, 8, 10.
So these are her step siblings?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I really don't want them to, commingle.
I understand, but you're not being realistic.
Wendy.
I know what you want me to say. I know what you want me to say. I know what you want me to say. How long have you been married?
A long time.
Obviously over 14 years?
Yeah.
So he cheated on you to have this girl?
No, he didn't. No.
How?
She is 14.
Okay.
Yeah, she's 14. So it was before we got together.
Yeah, it's not your husband's fault. You said he's a great guy. Can you please help him deal with the situation? He didn't cheat on you.
When?
He didn't have the child through ill-gotten, foul, mother-father means. Can you help your husband? You know a man doesn't know what to do with a 14-year-old girl.
I know.
Excuse me?
I know.
You know what I'm saying? You could look like a hero in your husband's eyes, and I know you already do. You could look like a hero in how you handle this, because your 10-year-old is going to be fully observant of how you deal with this.
I know.
And you don't have anything to impress this 14-year-old girl with, but you get heaven points. You get heaven points. And aren't we all working our way towards that? For all the evil we do, you can do this. This will be such a good thing. Glad it's not my house.
Wendy, man.
I'm a 28-year-old female with 4 children. I'm married. I keep receiving phone calls from females who saying that they're pregnant by my husband.
The Wendy Williams Experience. Yo, did you catch this flashback?
Line number 3, Josh wants to talk about Coretta Scott King. And Josh,
Hey.
hi, Josh.
How are you, Wendy? Love you, girl.
Josh, you sound so queenie.
Thank you.
And you are so young. You're 15 years old. All right, let's talk about Coretta Scott King, Josh.
Okay, yes. Died at the age of 78. And this is what really got me upset. I go to school today, and I'm like, oh, my God, brother. I'm like, brother, she died. They're like, who? Coretta Scott King. He's like, oh, my God, are you serious? So I go to class, and I'm like, Coretta Scott King died. And they're like, who? And I'm like, have we gotten so comfortable up in this world that we don't even know who she is? I'm like, what? What? I don't think so.
If he delivered the message like this, then you understand why it is everybody's confused. I picture him standing in a Catholic schoolgirl skirt, looking like Britney from Oops, I Did It Again, with his brother, Coretta died. What?
We got him. This it right here.
Miss a day, miss a whole lot.
Coming through your speakers, boy.
It's Wendy, man.
Yeah. Ooh, it's a lovely day. It's supposed to be a lovely week. Hopefully, the sun will shine on us for the rest of the week. Don't forget on Wednesday night, the Wendy Williams Comedy Experience. Looking forward to that. Was only there during part of the time last week. But this week, I'll be there the whole time. And shout out to Drew Frazier, my host. Special shout out to Joe Torre, who came in last week and guest hosted. That was a lot of fun. So I'll see you all Wednesday night at the Laugh Factory. In the meantime, shout out to Lynn in Shreveport, who ordered her very first item off HSN. She works at Shreveport Medicaid in Louisiana. Enjoy your sheriff bag, Lynn, darling. Anna Nicole Smith is about to get her Zell. Well, she won a unanimous U.S. Supreme Court ruling earlier today, saying that she's going to get a new chance to collect the millions of dollars that her late husband promised her. So that's big. She'll get a second chance. By the time she actually gets the money, she'll need retouching up. So it'll come in just in time. In the meantime, dear Wendy, we're devoted listeners in Tampa, Florida, via New York and Atlanta. And I would like to correct you on Michael Missick's profile. Lisa Ray's husband, Mr. Missick, is a prime minister, member of the parliament in the Turks and the Caicos Islands, and not a prime minister, Wendy, or a royal like you and your crew have reported. A minister is equivalent to a senator in the United States. Wait a minute. He's not the king? I mean, he's not, he's a senator? Well, friend of the show, Shirley Ralph, is married to a senator. She's doing quite well. Well, because she has her own career, like Lisa Ray. It's more like just a dignified thing to me. I'm not looking at, like, Lisa Ray, now all of a sudden I don't look at it like that. She's married the mother lode, You know what I mean? She'll never have to work again in her life. No, she's still going to have to hustle, I guess. But it's still a fabulous thing to marry a man with a title. Imhotep. Imhotep, Mrs. Bird. By the way, did you hear that Tyler Perry is calling himself now king of all media?
Oh.
Yes, he's calling. You don't even know which button to press.
Yes.
How about this one? Exactly. But Tyler's king of all media. He has a TV show that actually comes on TV tonight. Remember I was telling you guys, hey, kid, do you have the information on his TV show?
No, but I can tell you about it.
All right, well, tell. Don't talk too close. This is the one with the herpes. Go ahead.
But you know my voice now.
No.
It starts next week.
And he still wants to. He still wants to talk, even though they don't.
It starts next week. It's going to be it debuts at 9 o'clock on UPN or whatever.
Yeah.
UPN. It's called The House of Pain. It's
Yes.
not his show. He's not in it, but it's created by him.
Exactly.
Yeah, so it's called Tyler Perry's House of Pain.
Yes, he's getting all the money, and his name is in the title.
I believe, what is it, on 8?
I don't know. I mean, we'll get more information about it. It's next week. That's hot. I'll tell you what. If I had one of them big herpes sores on my lips, I wouldn't be up here. But he's like anything for the fame, Miss Wendy. Let me talk. Big Band-Aid on my lips. No, he doesn't have the Band-Aid today. I'm just kidding. That was 2 weeks ago. Anyway, we're looking for new interns for the show too. 866 Wendy fax in your resume, and remember, I asked that you're a communications major and whatnot, and still in college. I must go to line number 1. Wendy is there, and Wendy, hi, it's Wendy.
How are you?
Are you calling in regards to the last call that we had from the last break?
Yes, Capri.
Yes.
I said she sounded a few inches short of a regular slack, because I don't understand why would she not want to consider this little kid. You know, what if the shoe was on the other foot? I really appreciate your comment.
I know.
Why didn't you say, ain't no good gonna come to you?
So you was right for that, girl.
I was really waiting for you to say that.
Because in actuality, I guess that part is between the mother and the father.
Oh, yeah.
The ain't no good part. But
what if her kids were the outside kids? She would want them to be accommodated and feel well.
And the great thing about a 14-year-old is that she's there to visit, and you'd be surprised how much you learn from 14-year-olds. She would absolutely love it. Her kids aren't 14.
I know. So please, Capri, if you're listening, have a heart.
Yeah.
Please welcome this kid into your home, and trust me, it'll make your marriage a little better too.
Yeah, well,
I'm speaking because I'm a stepchild.
Okay.
I know how it is to be stepped and how it is.
Oh.
It feels great to be welcomed.
Oh, Wendy.
You know.
We had no idea.
Oh, give me that music. It worked out well.
Thank you for calling, Wendy.
How you doing, City? Stay well, okay?
Bye-bye.
Okay, bye.
Yeah, my 15-year-old niece is coming to stay with us for about 6 weeks during the summer. Yeah, we made all the arrangements last summer, a year in advance. We knew what she goes to a performing arts, high school. She wants to be, in the city, where it's pop, and she wants to do whatever, for and with Aunt Wendy. I love that. Like, Miss Wendy loves the 15-year-old girls. You learn so much from them. She shops for Juicy, I shop for Juicy. She talks about boys, I listen. You know what I mean? I have lip gloss. This doesn't look right on me. You take it. And my niece looks very, very much. I'll tell you, she looks like who's famous. That girl from that show that Flex Alexander was on, the star of the show, Penny Proud. Yeah, my niece looks like Penny Proud. Yeah. Alexandra. When my jeans are a tad too tight, there they are for her. It's like, it's perfect. I can't wait until the summer. Like 6 weeks. Yeah. And a built-in babysitter. All right. Kyla Pratt. Yeah, that's my niece, Alex. She looks like Kyla Pratt. Anyway, let's go to line number 5.
Oh, new call.
Okay, line number 3, Chico. Chico is 45. I see your lover of 15 years has an ex.
That died.
Who died?
Yeah.
Well, what does this say about the bedroom?
Oh, yeah. Well, his ashes. He was cremated.
What?
Yeah. So he has his ashes in this urn, and he has it in our bedroom. and I feel like it's staring at me.
How long have you been with this man?
15 years.
Okay, turn on all music. I'm going to show you exactly what to do with them ashes, okay?
Okay.
Look. Oops. Oops. Wow. Yeah. I don't like it. I feel like they're staring at me, too.
Yeah.
So what are we going to do? What are we going to hatch a plan?
Yes.
Vacuum them up with the dust buster?
Well, that's why he put it in our bedroom, because we have his kids come over and blah blah, and people are around, so he's scared that someone might knock it over, so he puts it in our bedroom where very few people come in.
Okay,
So,
who are the very few and the very few? Tell me who comes in there. All I need is one child.
oh no children.
Okay, who?
Just probably like his mother, or my sister might come in, adults.
You can't blame this on any of those people. Oh gosh, and if you did it yourself, it's going to look like sour grapes. Is it going to look like sour grapes if you knock it over by accident?
Yeah. And I've explained to him that I just can't get.
Don't you guys have two gay men? I'm sure you have a break front that is absolutely beautiful.
Oh yeah,
Of course.
But he doesn't want it, and he doesn't want to compromise.
Well, you do. You've been with him for 15 years.
Yeah.
Where's your opinion in any of this?
Well, they grew up together.
I don't know. No. And you're growing old with him together.
Yes, exactly.
I understand what you're saying. You can't put it in a break front, an armoire, a tchotchke. You can't put it in a little tchotchke and put it up on a shelf someplace out in the living room.
He's just scared it might get knocked over, and he knows that if it's in our bedroom, there's not a possibility of it getting broken.
Well, what about in the throes of passion?
That's what I'm talking about. That's my main concern. I don't care. I could care less about, I'm sorry, the urn, but him. But it spooks me.
No, I'm talking about in the throes of passion. You just pound your head against the headboard one time too many, right? And the vibration sends the urn down on the ground and ashes away. I mean, you know what I'm saying? He gets his nut, and you get rid of the dead guy. Everybody
on
wins.
the other side of the room. I would have to really just go off.
Yes, well, that's what we'll have to do. We'll have to hatch that plan.
Yeah.
I don't like it.
I don't either.
I'm with you, Chico.
I hate it. And, and I'm getting to the point where I'm going, getting kind of antsy because I haven't had any.
What?
Hello.
What?
Yeah, I mean, we haven't had sex. I couldn't do it. I can't do it.
You haven't had sex since when?
Since he got the urn about 2 weeks ago.
Oh, wait a minute. Wait a minute. Wait a minute.
I mean, when you're used to having it every other day, and you don't get it for 2 weeks because you're spooked, that's a problem. And we've been together 15 years.
All right.
And he's never once not made love to me.
Where's the dead man been?
He has been, he was in Africa. He moved back here. And his parents are dead.
And so his parents gave you the urn?
No, his parents are dead. The dead man's parents.
Where has the dead man's ashes been? Where have they been? You said they've been in your bedroom for 2 weeks looking at you.
He just died. He just died recently.
Why do you have to have the ashes?
Well, it's not mine. It's my man.
What, was your man cheating with him right up until his death? Why do you have to have a dead man in your bedroom?
He was just extremely close, and that was his only lover. That was his only man that he had been with on a long-term relationship.
You've been with him for 15 years. How old is this fossil? How old is your man?
He's my age. He's 45.
45. You've been with him since you were both 30.
Right.
So what long-term relationship did he have before that?
It was 9 years with him.
It's longer with you. So
right.
And you so your opinion counts more.
That's what I think. But, it's just that it's spooking me.
Oh, look, I have to go. I can't.
I know.
I can't. I would just take one swifter handle to that.
About it in the long term or whenever, and just blurt over the radio, I would listen.
Replace the ashes with something that looked like the ashes.
That's not gonna help. But thanks. Just think about it. If you think about it.
Okay.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
I'll tell you, a swifter handle to the urn. That'll get it. Yes, have them throw you over the dresser and take you from the back. You take it. And next thing you know, see? There you go. See? Wow. Oh my gosh. All right, so anyway, Foxy Brown, everybody, she was rescheduled to appear in court last week. However, it's been postponed to May 26th. We're still dealing with the cell phone beat down nail salon. I mean, we're still dealing with this same thing. I don't know, can she hear? I don't know, Foxy. Your entire situation is so not interesting anymore. And you're doing it to yourself by working up these tired publicity stunts. Why are we going to trial over the nail salon workers? Why are you treating this like it's countdown to lockdown? Stupid. All right, everybody. Keep it where it is. I'm going to let it do what it do. It's Wendy.
Wendy, man.
This show is crazy. Just make sure it stays broadcast right here because it's crazy. Everybody I know loves it, even my mother.
The Wendy Williams Experience.
All over town. Everybody's making a choice.
The choice is yours. What do you pick?
I guess I'll take the bag.
Congratulations, you just won.
Thank you.
Listen weekdays for the winning time. 7:15 a.m., 12:15 p.m., and 6:15 p.m.
I'll take the Dior.
There it is. She's got a pair of Christian Dior sunglasses.
Pick your pleasure. Listen for your chance to win. And thanks for making us your choice. 107.5
WBLS.
Today's R&B and classic soul. It's celebrating 35 years of serving our community. We're WVLS. Yeah, it's 24 minutes after 5 o'clock on the Wendy Williams Experience. We got one more time to go around the clock before it's Vaughn Harper and the Quiet Storm at 7. God, it's a beautiful day. Isn't it gorgeous outside? I can't take it. It's just gorgeous. By the way, yesterday's People Poll question, Friday's was, is it wrong to keep letters and photos from your ex when you're in a new relationship?
Or ashes.
Or ashes, exactly. I just don't like the whole new relationship thing because I think that people involved in new relationships are entitled to their opinion on very little in my life. Like this is new. You don't tell me, what you think, like, feel, because this is a new relationship. So I couldn't even imagine somebody telling me, get rid of letters. Photos now, you keep photos, you keep up. Okay, photos are given, but letters, like where do you keep these letters? Embossed in a frame sitting on the coffee table for all to see. Oh, Walter, he loved me so much I can't even bear to put the letters away. Like, not like that. In a new relationship, your opinion counts for zero. Because you're not getting a relationship to change people. Taryn, where's Taryn? I can tell she doesn't have a boyfriend. Or has had one for so long that she forgets what new is all about. Like new. In a new relationship. Is it wrong to keep photos and letters from your exes in a long-term /marriage relationship? That's what I like.
Yes,
Taryn, I'm just saying, in a long-term relationship /marriage, not a new relationship. And Taryn, one more thing. Can we change today's People Poll question? She has, would you take care of your husband or wife if you found out they were HIV and didn't tell you? No. If we're doing this from LaJoyce's life, then would you take care of him if you found out they had AIDS? AIDS. And I'll start by saying no. You didn't tell me? What?
It's changed.
Okay, can you change that first thing too? A long-term relationship or marriage, thanks. In the new studio, we need a squawk box. I like, if Taryn's able to, just chime in from the pink room. It'll take them forever to run those wires. You know what I mean? See how long it's taking just to move in there. But we need a squawk box. We really do. I actually wouldn't mind having one in Big Mouth Brown's office either. Denny Brown's office, right? Wendy? Squawk Box, sure. So anyway, the Universal Circus is all set up May 2nd through May 7th at the Yankee Stadium. Tomorrow's the 2nd. There you go. Steve Harvey's going to be there tomorrow. Then it's moving on to Roy Wilkins Park, May 9th through May 21st. Oh, boy, it's a big Mother's Day night at the circus, day at the circus you can have there at Roy Wilkins Park. Yeah, don't forget about your mom. Mother's Day's coming up. Oh, and the circus is going to be in town in Newark, New Jersey, May 23rd through May 29th. And I will see you Newarkians, New Jerseyans at some point at that Universal Circus, that particular time span from the 23rd to the 29th in Newark. So for ticket information, I'll give you the telephone number, 800-316-7439, 800-316-7439, my friends. Tina, she's on line number 1. She's 36 from New Haven. She says, I love my husband, but I don't like getting intimate with him. Wow, Tina. But Tina, you know what? A lot of people don't enjoy sex.
Well, it's not that I don't enjoy it. My question was, it's the actual getting into it. Once we're into it, you know, it's great. It's wonderful. I get mine, he gets his. It's all good. But I mean, it's just, you know, I don't want to be bothered. You know, I'm tired or whatever. It's like, yes. But once you get into it, it's good. I'm just, you know, and I feel really bad sometimes because, you know, he's like all over me, and you know, I gotta, you know, take care of my husband, but I'm tired. Yeah. Well, I mean, there's no real helping with something like that. I mean, other than please don't make your husband feel as though you're rejecting his advances. Right. Because you know the rest of how that story goes. Yes, I do.
Yes, we all watch TV and listen to Girlfriends.
That's right.
But I would just say, you know, close your eyes real tight and just bear it.
Yeah, I guess.
I mean, you like it once it gets going.
Yeah, and I always say that. I'm like, Dag, you know, you like this. What is wrong with you?
It's like it's Sunday night and you're cleaning up the dishes from dinner, and he comes up behind you and puts his arms around your waist. And all you want to do is finish this last dish and go sit down and you know, just stare at the wall.
You are really feeling me on that. That is so true. But, you know, I guess there's no getting around it.
Right. But what he's doing is he has his arms around you, and you've just squirted your last drop of Palmolive, and you feel something like wood against your behind.
Look,
I know.
Anything. All I have to do is any little thing, and he's at attention, which is great. But
yes, I understand.
Well, I better take advantage of it while it's good.
Exactly,
right?
Tina, you're a lucky woman.
Thanks.
Yeah, take care, Tina.
Okay, Wendy.
Bye-bye. Mm-hmm. Line number 7, DJ wants to talk about DMX's new reality show. Hello, DJ.
What's up, Wendy? I haven't spoken to you in a while.
I know, DJ. How have you been?
Busy.
Mm-hmm.
But where's Charmaine today? I don't particularly like him much. I'm glad he's not there.
Well.
Anyway, I'm just so used to talking just to you, hearing you.
Yes,
that's it.
Please don't be a selfish lover. Look, Charlemagne now joins us, but he's in South Carolina today. He's actually wrapping up some loose ends on a business.
All right, well.
But he'll be back tomorrow.
Listen, I'll still listen. But I don't know if you talked about it yet. I don't know if you talked about the DMX new reality show.
I mentioned it.
Well, let me tell you something.
The other week.
You think about it. Crackheads have a good track record when it comes to reality shows, so I think he's a shoo-in.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to be watching. Look at Flavor Flav. Look at Whitney Houston, Bobby Brown. Absolutely the best reality shows on TV right now. So I know DMX is going to light it up. You know he's going to light it up.
Thank you, DJ.
All right, talk to you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Line number 6, Vernell wants to talk about the ashes in the urn. No? Okay, Teresa's on line number 5. She messed up this weekend. She doesn't have a question. She just wants to vent.
Yeah.
Hi, Teresa.
I have a question and I want to vent.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, let me tell you about Friday. Dropped my cell phone in water, dropped my favorite perfume as soon as I bought it, and burst open. Burnt my finger, and then when I getting off of work, this lady hit my car.
Oh, wow.
Tore the whole front end off.
Wow.
And then, I mean, that could be replaced. It's okay. I mean, I'm pissed off about it, but it's still okay. But what really makes me upset is, and I caught my old man cheating on top of it.
Oh, God. Friday was not
with a white woman.
What?
A dirty white woman. I'm talking about trailer trash. Something that you'll see off of Jerry Springer.
Wow.
She was so dirty.
Wow.
I almost went to jail about it too, but I didn't because I started to play the Bernadine.
Yeah, okay.
Okay, anyways, after the lady hit my car, whatever, she ran in my car to see if I was all right, and then once the police gave her a ticket and said it was her fault, she wanted to play Fred Sanford.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, but, now that I'm through venting, my question to you is, my blood pressure's up, Wendy. I'm ready to snap and be like an angry postal worker.
Uh-huh.
How do I relax in the midst of all of this BS?
You need something to drink on.
I tried it. It ain't working.
Oh, okay. Think about the things that you do have in life, in all seriousness. I mean, Teresa, you're 21 years old.
Yeah.
First of all, we're never given more than we can handle. What do you have to be thankful for? Do you have children?
No.
Okay. Do you have a backup man?
No.
Damn.
I wish.
Damn. Do you have...
I feel like Keisha Coles.
Is your blood pressure usually up, or is it just up because of all this drama?
I think it's just up because of all this drama.
We'll be happy you don't have breast cancer.
No, but my mother does.
Oh.
Stage 3. Yeah, I'm catching it from every which way. I'm trying to stay strong, but it's hard.
Who's your good girlfriend?
She passed away February. She had a brain aneurysm at 20 years old. I feel like I wish I could be like Dave Chappelle and just run off to Africa and not tell nobody. So, Wendy, if you want to come pick your girl up from this little small city, I would be more than appreciative.
Damn, where do you live in Florida, Teresa?
I live in a small city called Lake City, where the biggest thing here is Walmart.
Oh.
So come save me, please.
Well, what are you near? What radio station do you listen to us on? Are you listening
off of Jacksonville, 105.7.
Oh yeah, we're brand new there.
Yes, and I love you so much. I listen to you every day.
Then there you go. That's the bright spot in your life.
Can I make a comment about the dude and the ashes?
Wait, hold on. I'm scared to guess about anything else because and with her kind of luck, it's going to come off on me. My car will careen off the West Side Highway, and I'll end up in the East River, and then she won't even have us.
Oh, goodness.
Yeah, but you want to know what? Be thankful, Teresa. You have an ability to laugh and look. In all seriousness, you're on the telephone right now. You don't sound like all this doom and gloom has hit you. So
I'm trying to do the best I can.
And you know what? And you sound like you're doing pretty damn good under the circumstances.
Yeah, because Saturday I just laid in bed all day. I refuse to answer the phone.
Yeah. Don't have too many days like that though.
Okay, can I make a comment about the dude in the ashes?
Go ahead.
I think what homie needs to do is, if he can't get away with like knocking them off or nothing like that, because that might cause a little problem. He really won't get none for a couple weeks.
Right.
Why don't he just like get them and put them like in like some little thing and put them off in a closet somewhere? Because that way you don't have to see them.
Yeah.
I
know what you mean. Yeah.
I wouldn't want to be, in the book and have somebody looking at me either.
Yeah. You got bigger fish to fry, though.
Yes, and I do feel the Bernadine coming out of me, and I'm trying to suppress it.
Yes, what is the Bernadine?
Bernadine off of Waiting to Exhale.
Oh.
When she threw all the stuff in the car.
Oh, yes.
I mean, because I felt one of the moments. I could see, can I make an announcement? Fellas, if you go cheat, please get somebody that's better than what you have. Please do not downgrade, upgrade. Like Oprah status.
They seem to always lose that memo.
But don't be stupid and go to Jerry Springer status, because this lady must have had like 12 stomachs. And I'm 5'8", 135, and I have all my stuff together.
Well, Teresa, I have to go.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
I'm sorry. I love y'all.
I love you.
Stay blight.
You too. What'd she say? Stay blight?
Stay blight.
What is that?
Keep it real. Keep it G.
Oh. Stay black.
Stay black. I'm country. I'm sorry.
Oh, okay. She said stay black. Stay black.
Bye, Wendy.
Bye, hon. All right. Shut up, you all. Look, keep it where you got it. We're going to, and then we got our bonus. We got our time together coming up. All right. Keep it where you got it. It's Wendy till 7 on BLS.
What up, y'all? This your girl, Little Mo, a.k.a. the best singer in hip-hop and R&B.
Hey, what's up? This is A-Marie.
Hey, yo, what's up? This is Khalees, and you're listening to The Wendy Williams Experience.
happening, everybody? Did you guys hear anything about somebody trying to smuggle a cell phone into Little Kim's, the jail where Little Kim is? Well, they're saying it's being alleged that over half the female population there at the Federal Detention Center has been on lockdown since April 21st. What exactly does that term mean?
Lessening of privileges.
Okay. But aren't you already lessened with your privileges?
You can exercise, you can play basketball.
Oh, gee, I can't exercise. Oh, boy. Oh, I feel so violated. No getting together and talking with the girls and stuff. Well, over half of them are on lockdown. And the authorities are refusing to comment, but the sources say the investigation is over a rumor that a cell phone was snuck into the jail for Little Kim, and the phone was intended for her use. Now, Little Kim's lawyer is denying that she's involved with this incident. I don't know. All I know is that everybody's in trouble. Once everybody gets off lockdown, do they all gang up on the person who got him in trouble? I don't know.
Code of silence.
Code of silence. Like the orange wall. Oh, boy. Well, dear Wendy, I'm sorry, but the guy with the ashes in his bedroom of the ex-lover needs to get a grip. I would never allow my man to put my ex's anything in my house, let alone dead ashes. What he needs to do is flush them down the toilet, go get some Fresh Step kitty litter because they look just like ashes, and put them in the urn. This way, they both win. Well, it's so terrible because you have to think you got to deal with afterwards after you mess with somebody's ashes. Like even dumping them on the floor or something. Because I got to tell you, if you got like carpet, especially the shaggy type, that dead man is always in there. You've seen only the Auric XXL will suck that hard. Everything else, your Phantoms and your Eurekas and your Dirt Devils, they don't do that work. You've seen the commercials. Them dead ashes will be in there forever. I don't know. This is worth breaking up over. Like, what were you doing? Were you messing around with him up until his deathbed? Why does he have to be in here with us? Why? Nick Cannon is endorsing Crest. He does have beautiful teeth. Yeah, he does. Anyway, he insists that he didn't do anything wrong with Christina Milian. Have we all heard enough about this relationship that we don't want to hear anymore? I don't want to hear anymore. I'll say it for us. Is Snoop Dogg getting dug out by Nelson Mandela's daughter? Well, this is why. This is why. Well, this is why I asked.
Can it be the other way around?
Well, Nelson Mandela's daughter has stepped to the aid of Snoop to get him released from the British police when that fight broke out in London's Heathrow Airport. I don't know why young Mandela would step up, because it sounds like Snoop and them were clearly in the wrong. Clearly, they turned the airport out. Snoop was clearly in the wrong. What is this? That we have to, just because we're all black, we all have to stick up for each other? Wrong and right? Snoop sounded like he was dead wrong. No matter how many times I hear this story, I can't find anything that the authorities did to provoke Snoop. And you can call Whitey all day long. Sometimes it's not Whitey's fault. He had like 30 splaboos with him trying to get into the first class lounge when only 3 people had first class tickets. That doesn't sound like a white thing. It sounds like Snoop being dead wrong, trying to get over on the I'm Snoop Doggy Dog tip. Then it sounds like just a bunch of belligerent splaboos that were with him, and they all went crazy. And as opposed to Snoop trying to calm down his squad, Snoop joined right in, throwing punches, breaking bottles, and getting it on. So why the hell is Nelson Mandela's daughter, whose name they don't say, stepping up to help Snoop? Snoop was released after she stepped in. White people get that kind of call-in favor, though, every day, even when they're wrong. So, all right, black power. Okay, all right. All right. Whitey, you understand, right? Yeah. You all do it to each other all the time. Don't hate. Halle Berry is 39, and while she's in love with her Mr. Loverman, and people are saying that relationship is as strong as ever, that relationship she's having with Gabrielle Aubrey, as strong as ever, holding hands, looking happy, just heating things up. He's 30, she's 39, just loving it. In the meantime, she says that she will adopt. She says, I will adopt. Here's her quote. I will adopt if it doesn't happen for me naturally. I will definitely adopt. I probably will adopt even if it does happen naturally. I bet you they're having sex with no condoms now. You know what I mean? She's in that, because that's all this talk, chat. They're having sex with no condoms. She's trying. Good luck, Hallie. She's trying. And just remember, she will adopt regardless. Yes. Is there anybody on the telephone? I just want to pick up anybody who's on hold. Okay. Hello, hi, it's Wendy.
Hello?
How are you today?
I'm fine. How are you?
Good. What's going on?
Actually, I'm just calling because I just heard you say you were asking about why President Mandela's daughter was stepping on behalf of Snoop.
Yes.
And I was reading on BBCWorldNews.com that he's actually supposed to be performing in South Africa, so that might have something to do with it.
I still wouldn't step up. He was dead wrong. I know.
That's true.
I know. She was probably the promoter because everybody's trying to get in on, everybody's trying to get a record deal. And she's probably a promoter, and she would have lost money on the tickets sold if he didn't show up.
Then he has to go back through London.
Then he has to go back through London anyway. Okay. Well, wow. Well, thank you so much.
Oh, thank you. Thank you for letting me talk.
Take care. Bye-bye.
Thanks. Bye-bye.
Hello. Hi, it's Wendy.
Hello.
Hi. How are you?
Hi, is this Wendy?
Yes.
Hi, how are you?
Good.
Wendy, I just have to tell you about the show you were talking about on Bravo, The Real Housewives.
Yeah, don't you love it?
Wendy, you've been talking about it, and I finally saw it.
And?
I love it, Wendy.
Yay!
Wendy, I love it.
Great.
And I love the young one.
Yes!
She is so stupid, though.
Yeah.
There are like 40-something-year-old women still looking for a man like that, and here she has him at 24, and she's just worrying about drinking and going out to clubs.
She doesn't know what to do with him.
She's an idiot, Wendy, because she's going to turn around, she's going to be like 32, looking for those same friends, looking for drinks, and they're going to be married, talking about, you need to find yourself a man, honey.
Exactly. And
you need to go and find yourself a man, because I'm at home with my man, and you need to go find you one.
And you know what I love about the show? Because it's real women. It's not like acted like on Wisteria Lane.
I love it, Wendy. And oh my gosh, my heart goes out to the other one with the long blonde hair and the implant.
Oh, I know.
She is so posh. I love it.
Yeah.
But she is just she just has so much value that she wants to instill in her kids. I love it.
Yeah. I love that show. Thank you very much for calling.
Oh my gosh, thank you, Wendy.
And thank you for listening. And that's going to be the last call of the day because there's the walking music. I love you guys for listening today. Please come back tomorrow. I think Charlamagne will be back tomorrow too. Bye-bye.
Peace party, people. See you later. Cause I'm saying bye-bye.
Good night. Program complete.
Shout out to everybody in Asbury Park. We're finally making some headway, huh? Knocked down that big building this weekend. I think big things are about to happen at the 07712. It's been a long time promised and nothing has happened. Oh, look, I have to get my phone. I'll be back for the bonus hour in a few moments. WBLS.
107.5 WBLS, New York.
Hey, this is Jenna Jameson, and I'm the #1 porn star in the world. A toe is a toe.
This is Lil' Kim, Big Mama, Queen B.
Hey, it's Corinne Steffens.
Oh, what's up? This is Heather Hunter, and you're listening to the Wendy Williams Experience. It's time to get nasty.
The Wendy Williams Experience.
Where anything goes.
Wow.
Since you've been listening this far, we're going to throw in a little bonus hour. You ready?
How long is this bonus hour gonna last? I'm getting addicted.
No, let me tell you. I love this extra hour.
Everything is organic here on the bonus hour.
Yeah, baby.
Hey, yo, check this out. It's Wendy, man.
Here it is.
It's the bonus hour on the Wendy Williams Experience.
107.5 WBLS, New York.
Yeah. How was your day? Immigrant free? Not here. Goose has reported for duty. No, but you want to know what? Did you get any telephone calls from anybody? You didn't? Well, there's something going on. I mean, no, because we're sitting here, high atop 3 Park Avenue, right down the street from the Empire State Building. Happy birthday, 75 years old. But hundreds of thousands of immigrants were expected to not show up, walk off the job, and rally today in Chicago, and then L.A., and of course here in New York. And 50 other rallies were planned, smaller ones around the country. They say that more than a dozen of the 100 Tyson food plants had to be closed down.
Wow.
No immigrants, no work, no chicken.
Wow.
And 8 of the 14 Purdue chicken farms were closed down. 8 of the 14.
Wow.
We tried to order our usual meal from Guy and Gillard today. They said no delivery. We were floored.
No dishes of being
No, just terrible. Well, they succeeded. We can't tell in here because, everybody showed up. But they succeeded in slowing down production in the markets and the restaurants and the factories and the farms. I mean, I would love to find out what the hell was going on outside. What was going on down in Union Square? I feel like we're sitting on top of the action, but in this damn little dusty room, we don't know any of the action. I feel like I'm going to have to watch it on My 9 News. I hate that name. To get the gist of it. Is that Vi? Yeah. Ladies and gentlemen, the legendary, fabulous, the first woman in primetime radio here in New York, Vi Higginson. Hi, Vi.
Hey.
How are you?
I'm fine, thank you. How are you, Wendy?
I'm doing well. So, everybody, this all started because earlier today, Vi was featured in some sort of commercial that was playing and said, Vi Higginson, the first woman to hold a primetime radio position in New York. It didn't say first black woman. It just said first woman.
Wow.
And I did not realize that.
That's true.
Were they a little bit off? Was there another woman there with you, or you're it?
Well, when we first started, it was just, and I have to tell you, those dates are like 1970 to 1975.
Wow.
But primetime New York, I was on from noon to 4.
That's prime time.
Right. And the only other woman in New York at the time was on at midnight. Her name is Allison Steele.
And I can appreciate that, but that's midnight.
Yeah, that's
and you know and I know what you just did for women in radio, so I thank you.
Well, thank you. I'm so happy when I see the progress and the growth in radio, because, it was a man's world.
Absolutely, Vi.
But Frankie Crocker and that whole team, and the beauty of seeing a radio station going from 0 to number 1 in the most important market in the United States was outrageously fabulous.
Yeah.
We had a ball.
I'm sure. What were some of the things that you all would do? First of all, who was the lineup back in? This is Vi Higginson, everybody. I'm getting a little bit of radio history, and for many of you all, you remember the dates that she's talking about right here. I don't, but I'm enjoying listening. So
I have to tell you that, of course, that was the beginning of urban radio. That was the beginning of FM radio. And since you're celebrating 35 years, it just seems like yesterday, but I have to tell you, since I'm not older than 39, I was only 4 years old when they hired me. I want you to know that. No, but that was really back, really back in the day.
Yeah,
the lineup in the beginning.
Yes.
You see, it was WLIB FM.
Okay. Oh, okay. I didn't know that.
First. Because it was WLIB AM and WLIB FM.
Oh.
And Eddie O.J. was the first, they would simulcast between those two.
Oh.
Then there would be bonus hours.
Oh.
And then I came on
from noon to 4. Then Frankie Crocker came on from 4 to 8.
Oh.
Then they had a Guy Colston and Al Roberts. But we were still WLIB FM radio. But then when the Inner City Broadcasting Company purchased the radio station, then it became WBLS.
Oh, okay.
We were, I mean, you need to know this is because this is a little piece of radio history.
Yes, now what does the BLS stand for? Do you know?
Well, we had a contest back in the day. Beauty, warmth, beauty, love, and I forgot. I forgot the S.
Okay.
Warmth, beauty, love, and
Steve.
something.
In the morning. Okay.
Yeah, but then when we became WBLS, so the first, that's the reason why they say the first, because it was at least a year or more that we were still WLIB FM. So there, and that was the only time there was a woman on the air, and I was scared to death because, I didn't know what that was.
Yes.
But then when we moved downtown and became WBLS, then it was Ken Webb was hired. It was no longer simulcast.
Yes.
Bonus hours started. I was from noon to 4, Frankie 4 to 8. And then about a year or so later, they hired Lamar Renee, who was on in the evening time. And then it was all night long.
Yeah. Now, Ken did mornings. What time he got off at 10 o'clock? Who would do from 10 to noon, waiting for you?
10 to noon, they played straight up music. No commercials, no nothing. Bonus hours, they call it.
Oh, bonus hours. Oh.
Straight music.
Isn't it funny? Bonus hour today means no music. Straight talk.
You see that? Well, it's a new day. There's no question about it.
Yes. Wow.
That was the beginning of urban radio, and then that was copied all over the United States.
Yes.
Black ownership of radio stations, and that format really worked, and the music was awesome. In the beginning, it was called a total black experience and sound.
Yes.
And it was right here on Lenox Avenue and 126th Street.
Oh.
In a building that's now going to become the NBA building, because you know what's happening here in Harlem.
Yeah.
And then Sylvia's, you need to know, was right across the street from the radio station.
Oh, wow.
And Sylvia was a lunch counter. Only a lunch counter.
Wow. Isn't that something?
And and the interesting thing is, the Mama Foundation for the Arts is right next door to the house that I was born into on 126th Street.
Oh.
So, I mean, this history. So I went to work down the street at the radio station. My oldest sister went to work at the Apollo because my sister was Doris Troy, who sang There's Just One Look.
Wow.
So that's a little piece of, the history. And we rocked and rolled, honey. We had a good time. We went out. We hung out. We had a good time.
Well, you know what? Do you know, Vi, that my chief of production, Trev Hollywood, it used to be your board up.
Wow,
She doesn't remember. Her reaction was she doesn't remember.
Hey, baby.
Sorry. Oh, she's trying to play it off. Yeah. So what are you doing now, Vi? Real quick, because then we have to get ready to go. We have so much gossip to get to. But what do you do now to keep yourself busy?
Oh, well, I run the Mama Foundation for the Arts, and of course we still have the Mama I Want to Sing series.
Oh, wow.
We travel internationally. We go to Japan and other places. We still perform. I have something I'm so excited about, which is called Gospel for Teens, and we're actually going to be performing at the Schomburg on May 13th. I haven't been this excited since Mama I Want to Sing and WBLS.
Wow.
Because, these kids are throwing down, and we meant to balance out the musical menu so they can find their own voices, and they are killer, baby.
Do these kids understand who you are and what you represent?
To me, what's important here, they may or they may not. That's not the important thing. The important thing is that we can give something back and let them find out who they are, where they come from, and get a hold of some of their musical roots so they can develop their own sound.
I wonder if there's at least one black lady in the Radio Hall of Fame. I bet you not.
No.
I bet you Quivers would get it before me and you.
Well, you know what?
I'm just saying, she's riding with a white man.
Well, it's almost like an absence of that whole urban radio happened.
Yeah.
It's like somebody forgot that piece existed.
Did Frankie ever get into the Radio Hall of Fame?
I don't think so, but I'm not sure.
I don't believe I ever heard anything about Frankie getting into the Radio Hall of Fame.
But it should happen. So you're the one girl. You the girl now. You on it.
Yeah, no, but I couldn't be doing this without people like you,
well, thank
Vi.
you for saying
And
that.
so
Appreciate
it's very, very nice to talk to a legend.
Well, thank you very much, and you're a legend in your own time, and that's all good.
Thank you very much, Vi. Take care of yourself.
Loving it.
Take care. Bye.
Bye.
Sisters be doing. How dare you? I know there are probably a bunch of 20-year-olds who are like, who is Miss Wendy talking to? Please get her off the phone. We don't care about what happened. Kids these days don't care about nothing about how we got here. All you all care about is that it's popping now. What is so funny? Ew. He's so... Ew. What are you going to do with that? You going to throw it away? He's so busy talking.
I owe you one.
Drink the rest of it. Go ahead. Oh my gosh, that was really nice. That's right. I forgot that you that Vi worked at Kiss for a moment.
In the afternoon.
And you
midday.
And you ran her board. What was she doing? Was she fabulous? Would she be eating foie gras and stuff, or talking to fabulous old time friends?
No, you know what she used to do that I found was strange?
What?
She used to take everything out of her pocketbook.
Okay.
And have it all over the studio. She would have everything all over the place.
All over the console.
All over the floor.
What?
Everywhere. Damn near would change her clothes right there.
Oh, what? Really? Well, she had a fabulous life. I mean, from the radio, she'd probably leave and go for dinner.
I was just used to it after a point.
It wasn't anything strange to you?
It was strange at first, but that was just her eventually.
She would just come in, she'd pull up the mic, throw on her headphones, then start unfurling her bag. Wow. I mean, the great thing about this job, though, is that if you have somebody, pressing the buttons and running the board for you, like what Goose does for me, you can really develop a whole nother life when the microphone is closed. That's pretty strange, though. I never heard that.
Yeah, she used to do that every day.
Every day?
That's the one thing I do remember about her.
Unfurl her bag, change her clothes, and,
Not really change her clothes, but just do stuff that, you wouldn't normally do in front of a male.
Oh, in a room with glass on all four sides.
I don't know why she used to do that.
Maybe she liked to.
Oh.
Maybe she was waiting for you to hit on her, all young and thirsty.
Wouldn't read the signs.
Yeah, you weren't reading the signs. There's an older woman trying to hit on you, stupid. Yeah, you missed out.
That's okay.
I just sit over here and eat candy all day. I had 2 blow pops and a ring pop today. A ring pop. The sad part is I was brought as a gift. Somebody actually thinks that I'm that much of a child that a ring pop. Yeah, did you hear about this Rush Limbaugh? He's in big trouble again. I can't find the story. I'll get back to it when I can. So, Slim from 112 is supposedly signed a record deal with Nick Cannon's Can I Ball Records. You want to hear a quote from Mary J. Blige? She's still talking. Every time Mary talks, it's always something interesting. She says, my God, this is like the remix on her original statement about her God. This is a good one. My God is a good God who wants me to have things. He wants me to bling. He wants me to be the hottest on the block. The God I serve says, Mary, you need to be the hottest thing this year. And I'm going to make sure you're doing that. My God is the bomb. That's Mary. My God, my God, my God, my God. Hulk Hogan just bought a new mansion. I don't know whether we're going to see this on the next Hogan's Family. Maybe we see it on the current one. I don't know. I just know that it hasn't been the same house. $12 million, Art Deco in Miami. So many bathrooms he's lost count, but he thinks 13 or 14. 9 bedrooms, waterfront house, including a pool, a roof deck that holds 300 to 400 people. Are you kidding me? You can have people partying on top of your roof like a swanky Manhattan hotel. Hey. Yeah. It's nice. Sweet. Jessica Simpson. Same thing. Remix on, Jessica Simpson passed on doing the September Vanity Fair cover. People don't normally pass on things like that. Omarosa's breasts look like pecs. I'm sorry, I don't know who her doctor is. I don't know whether it's just the one picture that I saw of them. They just look high and hard. High, hard, and not enough projection. So they look very pectoralis. They look like pecs. You know what I mean? And it's no secret that Omarosa from The Apprentice, got these boobs. She says, it's official. Here's her quote. I've officially relinquished my title as president of the Itty Bitty Committee. Cleavage is not constructed by Victoria's Secret's push-up bras, silicone cutlets, inserts, or taping my boobs together. I'm so happy to have natural cleavage now. She transformed, she says, from a negative A cup to a voluptuous C cup. And we will be able to see it all go down on a show that I plan on following, because it's not so much Omarosa I want to see. I want to see how Mrs. Omarosa, her mom, takes to a full makeover. The Discovery Health is doing a series called, Discovery Health Channel is doing a series called Plastic Surgery Before and After. And so part of this series is Omarosa Manigault, her no longer Stallworth. She divorced him, I guess, or whatever. Anyway, it's Omarosa and her mother, Teresa Manigault. Teresa was treated to a full makeover, including a tummy tuck. This is Omarosa's quote. I treated my mother to a total makeover, the makeover of her dreams. That's a nice thing to do for your mom. I mean, if you're not nervous for her to go into the anesthesia, say she's, like single. She's a woman of a certain age. Now you got a few bucks, you're her daughter. I mean, it's fun to hang out with your mom. She's no longer bossing you around like she did when you were 15. Too much eyeshadow. Now she's your friend. So why not fix her up? I mean, old is for old people. Do you want to hear who AJ Descala's dating? Jamie Lynn Sigler's Descala's ex-husband. He's really hot and really cute, but now that he's not with her, I'm looking at him like, But it's much like these women who get into these circles who have nothing to lend to it except for cat trap. Like Kim Porter, right? You go from being friends with Dallas Austin, who leads you to the promised land. Take me to New York when we graduate from high school. I wanna do something to somebody's condom. I'm gonna make it pop. So then she came up here and she had the baby with Albie Shore, and she was a secretary over at Uptown Records, and then got it popping off with Puffy, and now she's set for life. It's the oldest game in the book. It's just a little disgusting when men play it, but I understand turnabout's a fair game. AJ Descala was nobody. We didn't know him before this. Susie John, unless you want to tell me something about his lineage, he's nobody. But he met this Jamie Lynn Sigler, at the time, mezzo-soprano, 20 years old at the time. They link up. He's 32. He becomes her manager. Meadows hot and poppin'. Takes the time off, does the Maxim layout, does the Heidi Fleiss movie, right? Meadow. He starts hanging out a lot with Nick Simpson. Oh, Nick, I'm sorry. Oh, I didn't mean to do that. Nick Lachey. Guys don't like when you do that. People called my husband Kevin Williams before. Oh, my God. No, yeah. Guys don't like that. I'm sorry, Nick. I didn't mean to do that. Anyway, he starts hanging out with Nick Lachey and everything, blah, blah, blah. Next thing you know, Nick and Jessica are getting divorced, and, AJ and... Anyway, guess who he's with? Because now that he's been with Jamie Lynn Sigler Scala, he is now a part of a certain elite in Hollywood who gets the cachet to still go into parties, even though he does nothing, and date these women. He's hot, and the hot factor counts a lot to the superficial. So now he's on the stroll again, and he's dating, and I'm ready to deliver. Sorry. Sorry. He's dating Anna Marie Dillard, the Dillard department store heiress. If he doesn't poke a hole in his own condom and marry her and get a baby by her, he's a fool. Poke a hole in your own condom. Baby that and wife that. He's like the male white version of Kim Porter. Do you know what I mean? You know what he's in it for, so you just have to kind of push him right to the right. You did the right. How do you get that? Like, that's different. That's different, girl. That's not, Hollywood Lindsay Lohan girl. I mean, because you know what I'm saying? Difference between him is like the difference between B. Damn Onse and Bob Johnson's daughter. See what I'm saying? Whoa.
Insurance.
Exactly. Or imagine if Snoop really was getting hit off by Nelson Mandela's daughter. like that's that. You know what I'm saying? That's like a whole different kind of. Right? Dillard's department store.
For life.
Yeah, that's all I'm. That's like that real heiress. That's not that Jessica Alba. You know what I mean? And she's cute. She looks like she drinks and has fun. She looks a little like Soleil Moon Frye. And you remember the legendary story about Soleil Moon Frye giving Albie Shore a professional right in the middle of the dance floor. Well, while at the club with her boyfriend. Anne Marie Dillard. Look, he's even got the cryptid crooked smile. AJ's the Scala. Look, just look at the picture. His smile says exactly who he is. A charlatan. And look at her. Look at the Dillard girl. You could just picture her twisting her hair. Oh my God, like, you're so hot. Got any e-pills? That's a good hit, AJ. I'm not sticking up for you, but because I can't look at Meadow Soprano the same way since seeing the Heidi Fleiss movie. All I ever see is Heidi Fleiss. I don't know when this Amorosa show starts. I'm ready for it to start, though. I'm ready to see. Who's on the telephones? Anybody today? Hello. Dear Wendy, my name is Carmen Davis. Do you remember me from Hair and More Salon on Main Street in Asbury Park, where I did your first sew-in weave for your interview at Kiss? Oh. Wow.
Wow.
Wow. Wow. Yes, I do. And I got that job, and the rest is history.
Hello?
Hi. Well, Wendy, my first gospel stage play, And the Truth Will Make You Free, is going to be held on June 3rd at the Union County Arts Center Theater in Rahway, New Jersey. Would you like to attend? Thank you. That's signed Carmen Davis at Hair Etc. Beauty Salon and Boutique on Main Street in Bradley Beach, New Jersey. Wow. I'll call you. I won't be able to attend though, but I'll call you. Wow. She damn sure did. Hello?
Hi.
Hi, sorry.
Wendy, did you do your Pick Your Pleasure already?
Oh no, that's coming up.
Oh, it's coming up?
Yeah.
Oh, I thought it was 6:15.
Well, it's loose here on the show. It's,
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
No problem.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you for calling.
You're
Bye-bye.
welcome. Bye-bye.
Mm-hmm. Do you know, parents, what it means when your kids are typing in on their emails? POS? It means parent over shoulder.
Oh.
Exactly. POS. Do you know what it means when your kids are typing in and you think you're so smart, cracking their codes and looking at their stuff? When do they say LMIRL? Let's meet in real life.
Oh.
See? How crazy is that? I saw so many specials over the weekend regarding the internet and the predators and all that other kind of stuff. Speaking of kids, Dana Plato from The Facts of Life. Different Strokes. Her son Tyler's now 21. He's reopening her murder investigation. Well, today is May 1st. I got to tell this kid, I don't know what the cops are going to accomplish in 7 days, but May 8th, the statute of limitations is over, and then it's, what it is what it is. But the kid, Tyler, she was just 34 when she died. He's 21 now, but that was 7 years ago. And they say that, or he says that she died under very suspicious circumstances. And he's demanding that the police take a look at it before the statute of limitations run out May 8th. Tyler believes that his late mother, Dana Plato, Hillary, her boyfriend, Robert, may know more about the death than what he's revealing to the cops. Tyler says, I don't believe she killed herself. Unless the police take immediate action, the killer's going to walk away free. Dana's boyfriend may have snapped the last photos of her lying in her motorhome trailer on May 8th of that year. And he did nothing to help her. Reportedly, the pictures were snapped as she was taking her last dying gasps. And he told cops that he was taking pictures because he thought it was funny that she was snoring so funny. In the meantime, the guy, Robert, is claiming that he thought that she's passed out from doing too many drugs. But the autopsy revealed that she had 7 or 8 fresh pills in her stomach. In other words, they wouldn't have opened up and gotten into her. But that's 7 or 8 fresh pills on somebody who already had a drug problem. That's because the other 25 pills have already dissipated into the drug scene. Bloodstream.
7 remaining ones.
Yeah, those are the 7 remaining ones. The kid is hope. He might be onto something, though. Worse things have happened. Somebody take a picture of you as you're dying. Isn't that terrible? Speaking of which, did anybody go see David Blaine today? Is he all set up and ready? Is he set up?
I think so.
He passed out the other day. He's trying to hold his breath for that 9 minutes and change. He passed out at the 7-minute mark. Hollywood wants to go over there to see if he dies. Holly was the same one who was at the bottom of the Empire State Building saying, jump, jump, jump. Is David Blaine all set up? We should take a class field trip over there right before the Laugh Factory on Wednesday. Come on, I'll buy the drinks. Come on, we'll stop. We'll stop at a bar on each block. By the time we get to David Blaine, we'll be good and ready, right? We'll bring super soakers, eggs. What else do you want to bring? Come on, Charlemagne's new. He's not here. We'll make him carry everything. Come on, you guys.
Paintball guns.
Yeah, sure. And then blame it all on Charlemagne if we get caught and say, welcome to New York, nigga. You wanted to be here. This is a part of your initiation. Gosh, I have to take a break.
Take your pleasure next.
Michelle Rodriguez, by the way, is blaming her erratic behavior on taking steroids. Now, correct me if I'm wrong. Is she trying to smooth over that she has asthma? She says that she's been taking steroids and that's caused her weird behavior. She takes them twice a month for an allergic reaction to dust and cockroach resin. Wouldn't that be cockroach droppings, as in roaches in, you know what I'm saying? Don't they help facilitate the whole asthma experience? Aren't there steroids in Primatine?
Yeah, that's why asthma's so big in the hood.
Exactly. Why is she trying to whitewash this for Hollywood? she said steroids and cockroach resin. Give me a break. Yeah, exactly. She says that, when she arrived in Hawaii last year to, film the series. And anyway. And one more thing. Jennifer Beals is going to get a new love interest on the L word. It's the actress Marlee Matlin. I don't know anything about it, but I just thought I'd pass that along to you. L word. Lovers. All right, we need to take the break. And when we come back, we're going to be doing Pick Your Pleasure, and we'll ride out the rest of the show with some gossip. Keep it where you got it. Vaughn's coming up at 7 o'clock with The Quiet Storm on 107.5 WBLS.
What's up, y'all? This is your girl, Kiki Wyatt, and you're listening to the bonus hour on 107.5 WBLS.
Hey, this your man, Steve Harvey. It's Pick Your Pleasure time. The choice is all yours. Call now to win.
212-545-1075.
And be number 10 right here on the one that pays, baby. 107.5 WBLS.
All right, let's go to the phones real quick. Hi, BLS, you're caller number 1, and you're caller number 2. We got some really nice stuff for you to pick today. You're caller number 3, 4, 5, 6. Hi, you're caller number 7, 8, 9. Hey now, WBLS, you're caller number 10.
I am.
Yes, you are. What's your name?
Crystal.
Hi, Crystal. Where are you calling from?
I live in the Bronx.
Okay, I need you to turn your radio all the way down, Crystal. Come back to the telephone and let me know which one of these 3 beautiful prizes that you would like to have for yourself, okay?
Okay.
Okay, in our pleasure chest this evening, we have a pair of Gucci logo silver cufflinks. Or would you rather links? Or would you rather have a Tourneau men's or ladies watch? Or would you rather have a $200 gift certificate from American Express gift checks to buy what you want? Cufflinks, watch, gift check. Cufflinks, watch, gift check.
What kind of watch is it?
Tourneau. A Tourneau. Sorry, I've just got other stories to get to.
Okay, I'll take the gift check.
Okay, there you go. $200 can get you whatever it is that you want.
Thank you, Wendy.
You're very welcome, Crystal. Congratulations to you. And listen, you do qualify for a trip to Hollywood to see Dr. Phil.
Thank you.
Yeah. Crystal, let us know your radio station.
WBLS.
Thank you, Crystal. And that trip to see Dr. Phil out in Hollywood is courtesy of NWA World Vacations. Fabulous. Okay.
Thank you.
You're welcome, Crystal. Hold on. Put Crystal on hold. Is that boy in there? Nope. Of course. Always walking around, ointmenting his herpes or brown nosing in the office. Something. Anything but.
Wow.
Yeah, well, always something. And the killer part about that particular one, he just asked me the other day, a private walk to the garage. He's, one of those, can I talk to you? Can I talk to you? And so, I'm like waiting. See, he says, is there any room in the organization for me? He's trying to be, other than intern, like be on payroll. And I said, well, we don't have any, room like that, at this particular time. I said, it just doesn't happen like that for interns. I know what you think you've seen and everything like that. And believe me, everybody's being observed from afar, but we don't have anything like that now. But, I admired the kid for just outright asking.
Yeah, but you gotta put some stripes in before you could even ask that.
Please tell me about it. Now I'm looking at the kid. I'm thinking to myself, this is the same one who's asking about trying to become a part of the organization on a regular basis. And our girl is in there taking the contest information. He's been very lackluster on the phone. So he's going to be the first one to go to Dons and Divas. not realizing that he's going to be helping. I just don't really get it. These kids all want something for nothing. Did you ever think we'd be old enough to say that? It doesn't make me feel old at all. It makes me feel like I got my stripes. Kids. They all feel as though the world owes them something. I don't know. What the hell is that? We don't owe you nothing. We. Like we're part of the like we're part of owning the world. I mean, they don't owe us nothing. They don't owe me and they don't owe you. He said, "Is there something I can do in the organization, research or something?" I said, "That's what the interns are for. That's what you do that for me for free now. Why would I pay you for something like that?" Shut up. No, because all the listeners just looked at their radio and they said, because the research is not accurate. You're always saying the wrong stuff. Maybe if you pay somebody, you get accurate. You all shut up. So look. So Eddie Murphy is returning to the 4th Beverly Hills Cop installment. That means absolutely nothing to me. Does that mean something to you all? Well, he's returning to the funny. No more kids movies for a minute. He said he's seen the new script. Daniel Baldwin was arrested for cocaine possession the other day. Yeah, that's the older Baldwin. The old fat sweaty one that was on Celebrity Fit Club. I knew he was sniffing. Still. He's 45. He was arrested on April 22nd. The cops received a complaint from some loud noises in his hotel room in Santa Monica. And when I say hotel, I'm talking about one of those $75 a night gray sheets. Dingy hotel. What?
Not just in his car sitting for cab.
Oh, never mind. He is working for the operation. What is he, sitting in the car listening?
Well, he's downstairs listening. Yeah,
All right, kiddo. You got me.
She said he left you a note before he left.
He gave it to me while I'm talking. I'm talking and he's passing notes.
Yes, you're on the air.
Exactly. It's okay. I didn't realize you were downstairs sitting. He's sitting for question mark. Entertainment. Who's planning the next Dons and Divas? Listen, parking in the city is very, very expensive. You laugh now, but you can use an intern or two to car sit. On a side street, saves you $25-$50 on the parking. All the time. I just got to run into the store. Can you just, sit here for a minute? Throw the flashers on. Don't drive no matter what. Take the ticket before you drive. Take the ticket before you move the car. Don't, like that. I love that.
Don't make the block.
Yeah, don't make the block. Small amount of cocaine, $75 a night room. Here's the suspicious part. A man named Winston Anthony Hunter. Is that a black man? Is that a black man? Well, it was just the two of them in the hotel room with all this coke. And Mr. Baldwin posted his $10,000 bail. It's under investigation. I wanted to make it very dramatic and make it sound like it was a whole big pile of coke. But really, they said it was a very small amount of coke. I guess they had done the rest of it already. But you remember in 1998, he was found naked running around the Plaza Hotel, high on crack and naked. Yes, the Baldwins know how to party. They do. Alec and his temper with Kim Basinger. Steven, endless partying. Billy, which one's married to China Phillips? Partied so much he turned his life around. Born again. 139 years ago, the first students entered the Hallow Halls of Howard University. So happy 139th birthday, Howard. Black people be doing it for ourselves.
With all dreads.
Right. Hey, this hour of the show is brought to you by Entertainment Tonight. Let me talk to you real quick about LA weight loss. You want to lose weight and feel great? You want it to last for a lifetime? You want to do it sensibly without heart palpitations, crazy remedies, and a weight loss program that you can actually stick to? Do what I did. Get on LA Weight Loss. 1-800-448-TRIM. Listen, millions of people have lost millions of pounds on LA Weight Loss. You can do it too. If you're like me and you can't mess around with your metabolism or because you can't mess around with your thyroid, with the pills, speed up your heart rate, send everything out of whack, don't worry. LA Weight Loss is for you. If you're also like the former me, too lazy to go work out, no matter what anybody said, would not go work out, LA Weight Loss is for you. You work out in your own good time. trust. Once you see the weight you've lost, you won't want to put it back on. You'll be like me. I'm going to the gym. And now I go 2-3 times a day. I'm getting ready to get the equipment in the house. I'm so disciplined now. I can actually, you know, you have to be a certain kind of discipline not to hang clothes over the equipment and stuff. I'm that disciplined. If we have the equipment in the house, I could just save, time. I can go right from the equipment to the shower without all that stuff in between. It's just, I need a faster way to do it. And I just want to thank LA Weight Loss for jump-starting my life to a totally different, healthy way of eating and healthy attitude. And thank you for helping me maintain the 25 total pounds that I've lost from you. 1-800-448-TRIM. Thank you again, LA Weight Loss. Dear Wendy, I'm looking forward to your new reality show. It'll be a hit. Come on, you can do it. No. She calls it Weekend at the Hunters. No, it's not going to be like that. It's not going to be like that. I mean, every once in a while, maybe the cameras will come over. I'll be doing something nutty at the house. But it's a reality show. It's going to be here at the radio. You'll be able to see all the people that I work with and all the nuttiness that goes on. I want closed-up zoom-in camera shots when I talk about the herpes and everything. Oh. Yes, all that. All that. One intern here, will you? Get ready. We're about to go full blast on VH1. There's some sort of website or something like that has like cheetah print behind it. I saw Taryn pull it up today. I think if you go to VH1 and you hit the Wendy Williams Experience, there's actually something there showing that, I'm still part of the family. How dare you? Did you hear about that 9-year-old son of a city cop that's in critical condition after he accidentally shot himself in the family's Long Island home with the father's gun? Terrible, 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 terrible. It's there's an internal investigation to determine if the gun that the little boy was playing with was his father's service or off-duty weapon. His mother and little sister were home at the time of the shooting. My God. My God. Dear Wendy, as an African-American taxpayer, I'm sorry, but I don't feel any sympathy for these Mexicans. There's still black people, specifically black men, who are struggling, but they are Americans. America's homeless situation is out of hand. We need to take care of Americans first. The Latino burden is on the government. With the children in public school system, we have to write off millions in health care because of them. If other Europeans, blacks, Caribbeans, Africans come here through getting a visa the right way, then why aren't they able to do the same thing? Bush is favoring these Mexicans for whatever reason. 60% of them should go home. Signed, Fed Up in Harlem. Wow. Well, love it or hate it, this is the fall ground for, your opinion. That I love doing. Oh, please, can I just tell you one more story before we go? Thank you, Vaughn. He gave me the thumbs up. A 76-year-old woman was killed in a Queens cemetery yesterday. Oh. Her idling car rolled into her, and she... as she was visiting her husband's grave. Evangelista was spotted by an off-duty transit cop. Evangelista was pinned under her 1991 Lincoln Town car. Damn, in the Maple Grove Cemetery in Kew Gardens. She may have left the car running and not realized it. Cops said the car rolled over her and pinned her under it, and she was pronounced dead at the cemetery. A man who was living in the cemetery, otherwise known as the Groovy Ghoulie.
Nobody lives in the cemetery.
Yeah, they have those little weird men that live in those little mausoleum type things.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, they're usually, their kids are off, their wife is dead, and they, Anyway, that was just terrible. The vehicle had her pinned just 25 feet away from her husband's grave. All right, you all. I love you for listening. Thank you so much. And God willing, we'll all be back again together tomorrow. Bonnie's up next with The Quiet Storm on your radio station, celebrating 35 years of serving our community. And Vi Higginson, thank you so much for calling up and helping us remember and relive. We're 107.5 WBLS. Bye-bye. How
you doing?
The Wendy Williams broadcast day has completed.
Aw, man!
And WBLS music starts next.
Jumping off country news today, we would like to spotlight 16-year-old Lakeisha Dixon for being an entrepreneur. She has started her own business. Lakeisha will come to your house and scratch your dandruff for $10 and grease your scalp for free on her first visit. The name of her company is Itching for a Scratch.
Weekday mornings starting at 6 on 107.5 WBLS.